Hello everyone, and welcome to another live stream with me. There we go, 320 Simpilot, and thank you for joining us today. Now I can see that the picture is slightly cropped, so let me solve that one for you. That's annoying. I spent ages working on that shot. I know what the problem is. The resolution in here is going to be too high, so we will just lower that down. Here you go. Everyone pretend this bit didn't happen. Yeah, supply. There we go, resume, and there we are. Right, that's the shot I spent that time setting up. So welcome. Thank you for joining us today on this live stream. It's a very hot and balmy summer's afternoon here in the UK, 29 degrees, unbelievable. But we are going to take our CRJ up into the nice cool air as we head south to Bilbao in Microsoft Flight Simulator. We did try this a little while back. We were trying to go across Australia in the CRJ, but I had a few streaming problems with the simulator, but I'm hoping resolved that for today, thanks to advice from you guys, which is great. It's always where I get my best tips from, so thank you for that. Okay, my voice is a little bit quiet. Okay, stand by. Not sure. Let me think. You guys let me know what you think of the audio. I can turn down the desktop a bit perhaps. Otherwise, I know what might have happened. Let me check that. Yeah, I've been messing around with the sound a little bit today, so that could have caused an issue. Yeah, I can see why, and hopefully now, let me just check. Is that better for you guys? That should have upped the volume. I apologise if you've changed your up your volume already, and now I'm blasting through your speakers, but hopefully that's sorted that out. Yeah, good spot. Thank you, Lauren, for that. Right, yeah, so welcome to you all. Loads and loads of names here, of course, already. Thank you all for coming along. Dave, I hope you're doing well. Dave's watching the V1 stream, Firefox picture-in-picture. That's going to be an intense afternoon. I hope it goes well. Connor, good to see you. And also the football's on. Excellent. I always time these things well to overlap with big events. Kai, good to see you, Kai. Kai says, I'm flying the CRJ for the first time, Barcelona to Copenhagen. Excellent. That should be good fun. Pavel, good to see you as well. And Jonathan Gunther, I hope you're doing well. We are doing fine here. Yeah, the music is slightly different to Flight Data Sims intro music. It is indeed, yeah. Thor, good to see you. It has been a while. Thanks. Good to see you come along. Thanks for joining us. And Klaus, Marky, who wants Wales to do well. Okay. We've got Simon Schmidt. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Addicts, Danny Rubel. Good to see you here. And Ed Islam, of course. I hope you're doing very well. And Lauren V, of course. Lauren V enjoys this livery. Yep, one of my favourite thumbnails. That one we just had. I really liked it. Really like the livery. Just looks great on the CRJ. It really suits it, in my opinion. Anyway, Anthony C. Gonzalez, hope you're doing well. Lauren V, of course. Klaus, if I didn't say, and Michael, and of course everyone else sitting at home, just watching along. Thank you all for taking the time to join us. So we're here in Southampton today. I don't think we've streamed from Southampton before. I've never really wanted to put the Airbus on the ground in Southampton, being slightly wary of its size, that it's not really. Yeah, it's not set up for Southampton really, but here we are in the CRJ, a much more regional airliner, obviously. So this livery, I just absolutely love it. Paddy did a fantastic job, of course. It's also nicely weathered, so it looks a little bit older, like it would do, being a Dan Air aeroplane, having sat around for the best part of 40 years. But yeah, looking really nice. And I've got a couple of glitches in the cockpit I'll show you, which I'm not sure where they're coming from, but I think we have a fully functioning aircraft. Otherwise, Pete says, my home airport, interested to see the performance of the CRJ. Yeah, I did do a little test run. It seemed to have no issue. I particularly loved Paddy's work on these engines here. They look really, really nice. Nice it's like that bare metal, but not shiny, that matte bare metal effect that you get so often in aviation. You see it a lot. The funny thing you notice on some airplanes is some of them, I've seen Airbuses where the wings are shiny and some where they're this sort of matte effect. So I don't know if it's an age issue or not, but yeah, it's amazing. And here's the tail, classic design. Don't ask me what it's supposed to represent. I do not know, but I quite like the red and the blue. Obviously, it goes well. Lauren V says, next week from Southampton would have been fun. They're bringing midweek madness. Oh, there you go. I don't actively avoid events, but the few times we've got involved by accident, it's usually been I don't want to say ended in tears, but it's been hard work, and it's not necessarily the best way for it. I'm assuming we have a couple of people joining us, but I can't really tell, I'm afraid, because I don't have the nameplate showing up. The airplane's cold and dark, so I won't waste too much of your time, we will jump in and get powered up. And there you go. Yeah, it is a short runway, narrow runway as well here at Southampton. This is only 30 meters wide. 45 meters is a standard sort of airline runway. Most airline pilots like landing on a 45 meters width runway. If you do 60 meters, it's too wide. It looks a bit funny. If you do 30, it's too narrow. It also looks a bit funny. So, yeah, there's plenty of ways to... I mean, that should just give you an example of the excuses that we like to think up. So runway width is always a top one, as you guys know. Right, let's dive back down into Golf Alpha Tango Tango Bravo. Presumably we were supposed to set off from Gatwick, but of course it's midweek madness in Gatwick, I believe, today. So I really did not want to be there because I got in trouble last time we did that. It was not only with the controller, but I could appreciate that it was a big group. Dougal McTavish, good to see you. Thanks for coming along. I hope you're doing well. I hope Simwings applications are going well. Those of you who didn't see, we did the Simwings live stream the other day. So, yeah, do head to their website if you're interested to find out more about them. Pete White says, I've flown a 320 out a few times down to the Med from here. Flap 3 in Toga is quite sufficient for a 2-ish flight. There you go. Yeah, it's not the shortest runway in the world. It's just quite a small airport. Anyway, I'm really glad to be back in the CRJ. We're going to do cold and dark, so you guys are going to help me out because I'm going to have forgotten loads of things. I do my best to practice with airliners before, but yeah, it's a really different airplane, this, and it does take a little bit of focus. So let's jump into the flight deck, and you'll see what I mean with the texturing issues. And pop. There we go. And look, we've got white. We've got the white edition. And I don't know why. I have no idea if this is caused by the livery or what it's caused by. What I'm going to do is, let's take this camera into the cabin. There we go. And then we'll jump into our flight deck. Okay. So yeah, we're in the ice edition, or whatever computer manufacturers would call it, the Glacier White CRJ 700, which I think looks quite smart, actually. I don't mind. I don't really mind what colour they paint the flight deck. But yeah, there we go. Seeing as we've had brown, I don't see why white wouldn't be allowed. But let me start up with the safety check. So we're going to check all those circuit breakers on that back panel are in, which, as far as I can tell, they all are. And then we're going to go to the nose wheel steering switch. Very important. That is off because the ground crew can't disable that themselves. We have to do it ourselves. Thor says they're really well versed in their midweek madness events. It's some smoothly oiled machine. Yeah, no, they're very good. It was entirely our fault for there were just too many of us trying to go at once, which caused the problems. Yeah, I definitely can't blame Gatwick controllers. Hydraulic pumps. Now we need to check are off, which they all are. Landing gear lever is definitely down, and I'll check on my hardware because it's the Thrustmaster add-on does work with the CRJ in some switches and some less so. We'll see what I mean shortly. Flight spoiler lever retracted. That does work. See, look at that. Brilliant. But there it is, retracted. Slats flap lever set, so that's up at 0. That does work, but there aren't enough detents, so it's a bit of a fiddly one. So we're going to take off flap 8 today. Yep, good. So that is up or set to 0. Radar, which is, let's get rid of that. That's down here, if I remember rightly. There we go. And that is off. ADG manual release, which is down here. That is the ram air turbine, effectively. That is stowed. Emergency flap switch is set to normal. Is it? Yep, normal. Good. Battery master coming on. So we're finally up here. Classic Bombardier style panel with these big switches. Most airliners use push buttons for the battery, but they like a nice big rocker switch. So there we go. That's on, and it springs to life. Fantastic news. APU can now go on. I don't think we have a GPU out there. I haven't seen it. Out of interest, where is the GPU connection up here? Is it the AC? I don't think we've ever used it on the channel, I must confess. I could... It says removed, so we could connect it. It might start up and make a horrible noise. Here it comes. Let's see what happens. Padday, good to see you. Paddy says, hello, thrilled. Everybody liked the delivery. Don't think I messed with the interior textures, but I like it too, so I'll take credit. Yeah, there you go. You know, it's funny. I sat there and I had to go back and watch a previous stream. I was flying on like this. When I was testing it, and I had to go back to previous stream and check that this was supposed to be grey, because I was like, I think that's meant to be grey, but I couldn't tell. So yeah, it's one of those things. Thank you, A320 Pilot, for your subscription and Rare HD. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you enjoy the stream. Okay, GPU's on. Do we get a light? Yeah, we do. In use. Okay, we're on the GPU, so we'll take that. Just sheer interest, but let's start up the APU. So here's the default page, APU door closed. So all we have to do is power it, and we get the APU information up there, and then we can press start. You get a little start light. Some things about this airplane I really like. It has a great way of engines going on and off. Now I do apologise. The mouse is my mouse is slowly dying on me. The scroll wheel is really struggling, so you'll see that sort of jolt in and out. So I do apologise. Hopefully I'm going to get it replaced soon, because yeah, it's becoming too frustrating. Maybe I can try and fix it. We'll see what happens. But there we go. APU spooling up, so that'll be good to have that online shortly. Okay, Piano Learner, good evening. Hope you're doing well. Max Mustang, good to see you as well. Rishab says, I'm flying to Heathrow and it looks like it's going to be super busy. Yes, is there an event at Heathrow as well? Nicholas says, flying in the A320 all the time. That blue grey is getting boring. It's nice to see something different. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've no issue with it. And Lauren V says, we didn't even get stuck in Gatwick midweek madness when we did the Gatwick IB today. It was just extremely busy. Oh, was that it? Was it just so busy? There you go. And Santiago Perez, glad you like the CRJ stream. Yeah, I've wanted to fly this for a while, but it's taken me ages to get back round to it. Right, there we go. APU's up and running, so that's all good. I think what I'll do is we'll just get rid of that. Oh, there you go. It automatically prioritizes the ground power. Sorry, the APU by the looks of it. So it's just gone to avail. So we'll leave it as it is. No problem there. The reason I'm doing that is my checklist doesn't include the APU later, so I'll probably forget. Right, AC electrics as required. So we've got the generators all in auto, my favorite switch position. So we'll leave that as it is. DC service can obviously stay off, so we'll leave that. IRS to nav down here, not my favorite position for IRS selectors. They're too important, but there you go. They're now going to nav. Emergency equipment is checked. Now you'll notice we got the glacier white emergency equipment as well. So yeah, I have no idea what's happened. I assume one texture file's got corrupted in my simulator. I'm going to try out some other liveries, but I suspect that's what's happened. I'm also fairly sure last time I tried this clock wasn't white either. Well, there you go. These things happen. And Chickpoint says you can open up your mouse and clean out the lint from the scroll wheel. After that, it's like brand new. My current mouse is 15 years old. Okay, good. Yeah, I'll give it a go. I'll try not to laser myself in the face. I'll unplug it first. Right. Emergency equipment, gear pins and safety pins, airline documents, hydraulic 3A pump on off. So we'll bring up the hydraulic page down here. Because you guys remember, I actually flew the CRJ quite a lot. I did a few flights in it when it first launched, and then we did a few streams back to back, and I was getting quite comfortable with it, but it's been so long. So on the hydraulic page now, we're going to power the central system, which you can see does the rudder, elevator, and so on. It's quite, all three systems power the flight controls that are important. We're going to turn the 3A pump to on. So 3A is this one here. We've got 1, 3A, 3B, because 1 and 2 systems are powered by the engines. The 3 system is powered by pumps. We'll put that on. So it can only be off or on. It doesn't have an auto position. There we go. That powers up the 3A. So system 3 is at 3000 PSI, and then we'll turn it off. And now we can check that system depressurizes properly. Malarius85, thanks so much for your €5 donation. Really appreciate it. It's very kind. And Malarius says, hello, Captain. Thanks for all the tutorials. Any plans for the next group flight? Greetings from Cologne. I think, is that Cologne? I think it's Cologne. Yeah, so thank you so much, Malarius. Really appreciate it. Glad you like the videos. I hope you enjoyed my most recent video was the Stearman. If you guys haven't seen my Stearman review, it's up on the channel now. But yeah, group flight I'm going to have to work on one. The group flights are a little bit, they're not as straightforward sometimes as I used to think they would be, because I have to spend some time thinking about what we're going to do, where we're going to fly, pick out the information and put it together. So that's my excuse for having not done it yet. Yes, we're going to have to do another one soon, because I know you guys enjoy it. We enjoyed the last one a lot. So and it's been about a month. I try and do them at least monthly. So yeah, I just need to think of an aircraft to fly. Maybe we'll do a little vote as to what sort of airplane people want. But probably general aviation works well. Right. Anyway, yeah. Coming soon. I will plan on one. You're not the first. I've had some requests for that as a lot. So thanks again for the donation, Maris. Hydraulic 3A pump FS initialization. So we're not going to do anything too exciting here. We just check it's all working. It's all valid. Well, we'll pretend that says late June. And then I'm going to put in the airport Echo Golf Hotel India. And I'm going to take, I think if I go to the next page, I can grab the GPS position. That's the GNSS. That's the FMS and IRS. I don't want the IRS position. I want the GPS position. Okay, I'm going to take the airport position, plonk it in there. And that's it. That's initialized. Next, someone's going to do the cabin inspection and the walk-around inspection. So they'd go and enjoy this lovely livery. And usually you set off, especially when you're on an airplane with only one way in and out like this. The Airbus, sometimes this happens. But yeah, it's invariably, you'll set off to do your walk-around. Passengers, as soon as you'll be bound... let's say a walk around normally goes around the nose that way around the airplane. That's the standard sort of way. So you'll get to about here and you'll start seeing passengers walking out, and then you'll get to here and the queue to get back on the airplane will be just down the tarmac. That's what nearly always happens. And you can, if it's pouring with rain, passengers aren't going to be too keen to let you on first. But yeah. Right. Anyway, back inside. Origination check then. Crew oxygen mask we've checked. They're down here. We do our test and we check the PSI. The PSI should be on the the stat page, I believe. Let's see, it zooms the wrong way. There's oxygen PSI. It's all looking good. Audio warning panel checked. And we'll get rid of those master cautions. Electrical power panel checked. We've done that. Fire detection test we can complete. I'm not a CRJ pilot. I don't know what that does. External lights panel checked. Let's put on some lights. Let's have the nav lights on. No beacon, no strobe. We'll take logo and we won't have wing inspection. Where's the overhead lights? I'd like to turn those on. I think, is it this one? There it is. Come on, scroll wheel. You can do it. Other way. That's not good. Anyway, lights are on. Fuel panel. Oh, there you go. Fuel panel we need to check. So fuel pumps are off. We'll need those on for engine start, but otherwise those are fine. Then the bleed air panel is basically all set to normal and auto. There's not a lot of... let me try and get this view. Not a lot we can do there. AP is up and running. Engine start switches are all in the normal position. Hydraulic panel, we're going to go checked, auto and on. So we're going to power all our hydraulics now. So auto, on, auto, auto. And that's sort of the default position as far as I can tell. ELT switch, arm reset, which it is. That's the emergency locator transmitter. Cabin pressurization panel, that's up here. We're going to check that that's all in the right place. And the manual rate we're not going to be using. So hopefully it's all automatic. I don't think there's anything we need to do to adjust that. No. We can turn on those packs, so that should get the bleed air from that APU straight away, and the recirculation fan can come on. And I think that's it as we move down that panel. Maybe we'll cool it down a bit as it is so warm today. Anti-ice panel off, off, off. That's all the cows and the wings, but we will, let's just get a bit closer to the front. We will turn on the windshield heat to low. There we go. Yeah, that's it, low. And I believe the probes stay off for now. Emergency light switch can be armed. Passenger signs will go auto for no smoking, and seatbelts I'm going to turn on shortly once we've done the fuel. Clocks and instruments need to be set. More master warnings. What's it complaining about? We've got passenger doors and oil pressure. Yeah, of course. Pavel says, it is Cologne indeed. Thanks, Valerius. Excellent. Pavel says the DC6 is coming out on Friday. Will we have a DC6 stream on Sunday? Ooh, will I be up to the challenge by Sunday? That's a good question. I don't know. That would be a nice idea. Would you guys like that? If I can make it work? I can't be 100% sure on that one yet. I'm not sure what the plans are. Nicholas says, isn't GNSS just... Oh, sorry. Yeah, GNSS. No, you're absolutely right. I don't know what I was thinking there. Yeah. So, yeah, GNSS position. And IRS, obviously the nav systems. Yeah, so that's the GPS location. Yeah, absolutely right. Matthew Presley, good to see you again. Matthew Presley says it's fine, just at the airport position. The system will snap the plane to the start of the runway when you press toga. Great, just like the Airbus. I have seen the PMDG DC6 go in. Looking forward to that. I don't know when it's going to release on Friday though, so I don't know whether I'll have it up and running with any ability by Sunday. Right. I should be registered as a CRJ, York, on VATSIM. Yep. And Dougal, thank you very much, Dougal. Yeah, if people are enjoying, do please hit the like button. Matthew Presley says, if you've got any questions, feel free to ask. We will, Matthew. Thanks for coming along again. I always sort of hope that Matthew will show up and answer my questions or help me out. I am using the freeware add-on Bilbao. Yep, I'm looking forward to it. Some good scenery. Okay. 1000% DC6 stream, says Kai. Very good. Right, so we've done the other panel. The pedestal, I want to... not do a whole lot to. Anti-skid is armed, which is good. Landing gear is down, obviously. Overheat tests are off. You can run these and you get the... Oh, I like that. It even says out loud, the audio says gear bay overheat. We want the engines to run from the N1 synchronization, which is absolutely fine. We're not going to use the high power schedule. Ground proximity, all operational. I assume this is the lights test. Yep, there we go. Absolutely fine. And don't ask me what that does. Indicator lights. Oh, bright or dim. Yeah, so that would be things like the... oh, we'll see. Everything's off at the moment, but yeah, in the daytime that will be set to bright, I'm sure. Moving down, thrust levers... thrust reversers off, ground lift dumping in auto. That's all good. And then as we come down to this is a really complicated pedestal. we have a Dreamliner video coming very soon. I can exclusively reveal to you. Thank you for the subscription, Andrew. Yeah, and the pedestal on that seems to only contain 3 radios, and that's the end of it. Whereas this one, we've got IRSs, Mac trim. So we'll turn on the Mac trim. No, it won't work yet because we haven't got those IRSs aligned. Stab trim might work. We've got the, I assume, rudder travel, is that? Oh, RTU, I'm not sure. Yaw dampers, it's all down here. Yeah, there's loads of things down here. But anyway, that we might have to adjust after engine start. Ed says the DCS Mi-24 Hind has also been released. Oh, goodness me, I'd have no chance of that. I can guarantee that. Mariner Howdy, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Thanks for coming along. I'm doing fine. Yeah, absolutely. Dougal says DC6 stream. Okay, yeah, people really want a DC6. Mike says, just make the flight engineer handle all the DC6 systems and you'll be grand. That is going to be the plan, whatever happens, yeah. Right, so your damper should engage and trims check. So I think, I'm hoping, we'll soon find out. This little screen's quite nice. It does gives away what the problems are. Let's go get some fuel on and then load up that FMS, because that is what I want to do next, really. So it is a program view. There we go. We'll power this panel on. Come on, you can do it. There we go. Right. We need a fair amount of fuel, 5.2. So let's increase the fuel. Oh, I'm not sure what I'm doing there. 5.2. Let's go 5.7. Oh, all right, 5.8. Yeah, we're taking a bit extra, about 500 extra in a small airplane like this. That should be absolutely fine. And I think we're going to then turn it on. Then the valves open, and we should see that fuel increase. So just under 5 tons. There we go. Thanks for your subscriptions to Chase and Joshua. I hope you're doing very well. Matthew says, RTU radio tuning unit. There you go. Very good. There's always a different name for radio panels. Radio management panel, audio control panel. That I flew an airplane. It was called, I think it was called what was it called? Goodness me. It's been a while now. ArcDo? So many different names. Arista Pratt says the DC6 is very in-depth, even with the artificial flight engineer. If you do not see the tutorial YouTube videos, then it'll be a handful. Yeah, I need to study those. There's quite a lot of them. Right. Greetings to Thakros. I hope you're doing very well. That says me neither, yeah. So, this feels looking good. Wow, it's almost there, isn't it? That's 5 point. Anyway, we'll carry on. We'll let the fuel come on. Then we can put the seatbelt signs on. So let's jump into that FMS. So, not my favourite FMS in the world, I'm not going to lie. Sorry, Matthew. But I know we're not attached to our FMSs as such. The Boeings take you through the initial setup a little bit more easily, I think. But it may be once you're used to it. I mean, it's a very powerful FMS. It does a lot in the background. It's just not formatted the same that we're used to, I suppose. That's its only sort of crime. We're on gate 3. It's not going to really matter. Oh, wow. Okay, I'll take it back. Look at that. The first time I've seen the coordinates actually work for when you put in the gate. First plane in any simulator I've used where I've seen that work, so that's good. Matthew says, hardest part of getting a new type rating is getting the new alphabet soup into one's head. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Evening, Bacon Warrior. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, we will find if we need a mouse wheel. Thanks. Absolutely, Rakon. So, we've done the POSINIT anyway. So, it's through to flight plan. Echo Golf Hotel India. And we're going to go to Lima Echo Bravo Bravo Bilbao. We're going to have an alternate of Toulouse. Sim Brief loves a distant alternate. I mean, most airlines wouldn't choose one probably that far away, but there we go. And we have no route, no origin runway. What it's going to be? Well, actually, I don't know what it's going to be. Let me check the weather in Southampton. Stand by. I should have done this in advance. I'm so used to the A320 where I can just print it out, which is just such a good feature. I'm suspecting it's 20, and it always is. It's variable 3 knots. So, yeah, I think we'll take runway 20. And there's almost certainly no controller. Look at that, 20, runway 20 automatically. And we're going to be the flight number. We're going to be the Dan, call sign Dan Air 280. In it goes, and that appears up there. Love that. That's a great idea, having it appear on those screens. Swiss Pilot, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Matthew says, you don't know the half of it. It double taps letters constantly. It drives me insane. There you go. Right. Yeah, that would be annoying if it double taps. Yeah, not good. Okay. So we have a via, but for if I go to the next page, I need to put a departure in first, really. So I'm going to do runway 20, and we'll do a southerly departure from 20, and I'll execute that. Then we go back to the flight plan. There we go. So it's got runway 20 via the southerly departure to Needle. And then we'll go next page. Simon Schmidt, thanks so much for your 6 year donation. Really appreciate it, Simon. That's very kind. Simon's always been very generous with the channel. Simon says, would absolutely love a DC6 stream. No pressure on when you'll do it. Keep up the fantastic work. Yeah, we will definitely jump into the DC6. There's, I'm going to be waiting with you guys on Friday to try and get hold of one. So I don't know what time of day it'll be for us, especially in Europe. Often it's a bit later in the day. But who knows? Maybe it'll come out in the morning or at midnight. Wouldn't that be fun? So I'll do my best to see what's possible over the weekend with it, because that would be good fun. Thank you so much for that 6 years, Simon. Thanks for helping the channel as always. Okay, so Needle, and then we're going to go to Dawley. So Needle, those of you who don't know, is a waypoint on the Isle of Wight, because it's based on the Needles, which are a series of there's a lighthouse on the end. It's sort of a, I don't know what it's called. It's not a headland, is it? Is it a sort of a headland that's been eroded away into these rocky formations, and it's called Needles. Right, Dawley, and then we're going to take Upper November 864 to Pepet. Here's a question, Matthew. Do you normally download your routes, or do you have to type them in? When I worked sort of, I say regional. When I worked on a regional aircraft, we definitely didn't download it, but we always typed it in each time. But it was typically shorter routes. But in America, I imagine, as we've discussed before, the routes that you fly in the CRJ, it can be pretty seriously long. I've done about 867 to Mapax. Regional in the UK basically means somewhere you could drive to. Right, execute. There we go. So that is the route. See, not too long at all. Next, we're on to performance. So before we do that, let's load up the simulator. Matthew says, if I type in KABC, it'll spit out something like KKABBCC, or F350 will become F355. Oh, that is annoying. Yeah, that would get annoying quickly. Giuseppe's Gaming from Twinfinite, thank you for coming along. I hope you're doing well. Giuseppe, I keep thinking I pronounced the name wrong, so apologies, Giuseppe. But yeah, great to see you here. Giuseppe runs the Twinfinite Gaming and Flight Sim News website, which has always got some great interviews recently. So yeah, very good. Yesterday, Thacross says, I began an around-the-world journey with the fly-by-wire A320NX. Started from San Diego and flew to Hawaii. Have 34 legs planned. Fantastic. Enjoy that. I hope it goes well. Matthew says, we're cheap. We type them in. Yeah, that's how it was for me. I remember that. Right. We are going to go with, let me bring up my flight plan. Just load up the airplane. We had about 62 passengers, so let's just bump that up. There we go, 62 passengers with a bit of cargo. I want a zero fuel weight somewhere in the region of 27 tons, so let's just check. Zero fuel weight is 26.4, so we can actually take a little bit more cargo. Maybe squeeze on a couple more passengers. There we go. Good. Fuel, I want 5. Actually, no, we'll insert fuel from aircraft. So what we want to do, init fuel from aircraft. So there we go. We've got 5.8. That puts us way up there. In terms of landing weight, how does that put us? Are we going to burn enough fuel for the landing weight? I hope so. I hope so. I don't want to be too heavy. I'm going to offload those lucky passengers. Oh. Yeah, sorry. And we'll put it back somewhere more reasonable. There we go. Right, okay, so that is done. So we're going to set the payload in the simulator, which loads it straight into Flight Sim, which is great. Then I'm going to copy all of that data into the FMS. And this is something I like about this add-on. It's really nice. So there we go. That's just loaded straight in. Passengers, weights, really easy. Cruising F370. My least favorite feature is having to type in F. I can sort of see why they've done it, but yeah. 0 fuel at 26.3. Yeah, this doesn't ever line up quite right, but we won't worry too much. Good. If I do next page, we're going to put in the cruise wind. Cruise wind for today is in the region of, average wind component is 193.42. Oh, of course, I chose a massive headwind. And that's done on true, interestingly. Yeah, okay. Thanks for the subscription to Timothy. I hope you're doing well. Guru Ken, good to see you. Anime Plane has just ordered the TCA add-on. Excellent, enjoy that. It's yeah, it's good fun. Giuseppe is doing well, and you're actually saying it right for an English speaker at least. Yeah, that's as good as I can get. All this stuff takes forever on a gamepad, says AC. Yes, it will be a challenge on a gamepad to start doing this. I can definitely do that. Lauren V says, don't feel too pressured for this week. A lot of people are taking place in either the Great British Group Flight or Across the Pond Light on Saturday, so we might be a bit simmed out. What's the Great British Group Flight? I haven't heard of that. How interesting. How interesting. Yeah, right. Good. Renav setup we've done then. Perfect, we've done. So Matthew, is there anything else you think we need to do here? We've got our legs in there. We've done our departure. We've got our VNAV. I am going to adjust my MFD screen. I like having the window on just to give a bit more information. And let's zoom in. And that doesn't have much. There's a bit of a gap there. I'm not sure why there's that first gap. Runway 20. We'll go straight ahead to 500 feet and then basically 2,000 and then needle. So hopefully it'll connect. Otherwise we'll just go direct to needle. It's not the end of the world. So yeah, okay, that's looking good. Let's turn on a few lights. Integral lights, please. Scroll, please scroll, please scroll. There we go. More. That's good. And there's got to be another one down here. Yes. Right. Okay, that'll be ready for later. We are running in real time, real weather for once. Although we did last time, actually. So APU's open, engines are shut down, the bleeds are closed, parking rig is on. That's looking like a reasonable sort of cockpit. Let's just show those charts to you guys. So here you go. We're here on stand 2. And we're going to taxi out, backtrack on 20 and take off. So it's a good job there aren't too many of us flying today because, yeah, that would have been really bad. That's why I put myself in this corner because I thought if a few people fly along and I end up blocking them all on this taxiway, I'd feel really bad because it would take ages to get everyone out. Then we're going to depart to the south, so 500 feet. Then we make a slight turn to 217, 2,000 feet, and then to Needle. So it's very straightforward. Straight ahead, straight over the Solent or the Red Funnel ferries, which I mentioned before in this channel. And down we go. Okay, what else is there to do? Right, stop altitude. Runway 20 doesn't really have one, so I'm going to put in a sort of classic UK stop altitude. 6,000 feet, and let's make sure we got the right QNH sets. There we go, 1010, which looks about right, just above sea level. Okay, thank you for your subscription, Captain Dream. Captain Dream says, remember me? Yeah, I think I recognise the name. But thanks for coming back if you've not been here for a while. Ed says, does the TCA add-on play nicely? So we'll talk about that when we get going. Yeah, do remind me, Ed. The short answer is yes, with a little bit of work. A little bit of work required. Okay. Let us get that tug connected. Oh, it doesn't animate. That's a shame. GPU is going away. Let's close up all the doors. Close, close, closed. Remove the chocks. And there's our flight attendant telling us everything's okay. The last of the doors closing up. And yeah, there is a tug attached. You guys just can't see it. They're running their PA, which is all good. So let's think about the actual departure. Because I sort of glossed over it there. Getting excited that I managed to do the FMS. So, taking off, we need 217 from the Southampton VOR and getting on to 2,000 feet and then towards Needle. So that's all pretty straightforward. So what I want to do is just put that 217 and Southampton VOR tuned in so they're ready. So this is done to the FMS course. I'm just going to set it to, and again, Matthew can correct me if that's wrong, 217. Now, there was an issue. If you had these needles set to FMS on approach, which should have worked, I believe, for flying an ILS, if you left the data source as the FMS, it didn't used to work. So I'm hoping now, I believe it should work. Thanks, Ab, for your subscription. 217 going in there. There we go. And let's put the heading bug round there. I very much dislike heading bugs that I have to change. However, this one does have that reset button that lets you just center it. So you could just do that as you reach the runway, to be honest. I'm being very proper considering I normally forget it all of the time. And finally then, we need to do the performance. So we're going to do a flaps 20 takeoff dry runway. I think, well, let's see, flaps. I think flaps 8 will work actually. Let's do flaps 8. So there's the speeds. I can just press settle and we get all of those speeds because that is a pain to do otherwise. And 154 for a flap 8 takeoff. Finally, let's make sure that we've tuned in that VOR. It should happen automatically. Where is it? Is it in index? VOR DME? Nope. That's where you can deselect them, I think. Radio. Here we go. So we've got auto-tuned 11335, which is the Southampton VOR. So that is perfect. So this is tuned to Southampton SAM. I would have thought it would show us. Maybe it will show us when we get into the air. Ashley says, landing controllers online that you'll need to tune to. Okay, thanks very much. I will check that shortly. Any questions, guys, please do save them for the cruise. We'll have plenty of time. Janice B says, I'll participate in the Great British Group Flight. Will be my first VATSIM. Oh, it's a VATSIM event. Okay, interesting. Engine volume head, it should pick up a bit. I will just turn it up a bit now. Yeah, there's not much sound coming from it, I must admit, at the moment. Okay. That's good. Yeah, everyone seems to think it's okay. So I think we are ready to go. Thanks, Anime Plane. Glad you like the voice. Thanks, Captain Dream. Yeah, we are doing good. So thanks for coming back. We appreciate it. Right, let me run through the last bits of the checklist then. So we've got that departure tuned in, I believe. We don't need to turn on the flight directors yet. Or do we? I think when we press the toga button, they'll pop up. Anyway, we're up to before start check. Passenger signs need to come on. Now we've got the fuel on board. Oh, in fact, we can turn off this whole panel. So that goes off. Panel power down. Passenger signs on. Put no smoking on as well. Landing elevation set. Oh, that's a good question. That is a really good question. Let me just check the elevation of Bilbao. It is 136 feet. So landing elevation we need to set down there. I did forget that. And we can set it not up there, not down there. Oh, where is it gone? Has it gone? No. Oh, that's it, I think. Landing elevation, right. So this is a piece of mastery if we can do this in one go. I'm looking at that 0. 20. 100. 140, we'll take that. Right, so landing elevation is set. Altimeters are set. We're reading about 80 feet. FMS checked and set. IRSs are aligned and in nav. Matrim's not working. There we go. Radio nav aid set. Take a briefing complete. So next is going to be our before start. Let's try and get this transponder to work. I never do. Why does it say standby? That's the radar. If I do that, there we go. That works. So that's now on. Let's put the beacon on. This is just standard aeroplane stuff. So the transponder comes on just to push back. If beacon comes on, we start the timer. The passengers are all good. We do need to turn on the fuel pumps. Yes, they will come on. So personal electronic devices off, APU on, electrics checked, takeoff data set, doors are closed, beacon on, fuel pumps on and quantity checked. So they come on. And we've got a grand total of 5.8 tons. Hydraulic pumps are all auto and on. Parking brake can just go off. So parking brake's off. So I've now turned my TCA add-on off. And you'll notice this doesn't move as I change that switch. I have to, once I've disengaged this, now my switch does work. And you'll notice that parking brake is on, even though that's down. However, I can still control the parking brake just using the TCA add-on. I just have to ignore the animation of this switch, which just seems to get out of sync. Don't know why, but there we go. So I'm going to announce what we're doing. I'm assuming I don't need to contact London from the ground. Does anyone know? Should I? Or will I get in big trouble? I'll just check. We're on 1228. He says, yeah, 1228. So, yeah. Do I need to contact them from this point? I'm not sure. My plan was to just get airborne and then deal with them in the air. Okay, let's go. So we are reversing. Southampton traffic down air 280, pushing back from stand 2. Back we go. We're finally underway. That was 41 minutes. Oof, not great. We'll push straight back because if I try and do the tail the other way, oh, there could be space. Should we give it a go? No, it just doesn't turn tight enough. The real ground crews can pivot the airplane quite well. There are strict limits on the nose gear, what you're allowed to turn it, but we'll give up there. Stop. Before it goes any further, parking brake is set. They can remove the tug. Jumping into the flight deck, it's time to start the engines. Thor says, looks like you'll need to use SPAD next or something similar in order to set the right LVARs with your TC add-on. Yeah, so I don't mind. It works as long as I don't look down there. Lauren V says, wouldn't hurt to DM the controller to ask if they want you to call you. Okay, interesting. I might do that. London S Centre covers Hampton according to VATSIM sectors. Thanks very much, LJ4S. London South Centre. 12945. I recognise that frequency. See if I can scroll it in. I think what we'll do is let's go out to the runway.
On POB, requesting a racing service. Was there any other details?
No, that's it. Thank you very much. Golf November Yankee.
Golf November Yankee, roger then. The London pressure 1008.
1008.
Easy 16 Yankee.
Okay, not sure. Right, let's start the engine while they talk. You might want to try the toolbar pushback. It lets you pivot the airplane quite a lot. Ah, interesting. Thanks, Pavel. There's another one to look for. Toolbar pushback.
Easy 16 Yankee. Hello, London.
That's a new one on me.
There is no delay for runway 26 left.
Yeah, it's good livery, isn't it? Yep, Paddy's done a great job. We are still on the ground, John. I can only apologise. Let's start the engines. I could solve that problem. It's so easy on this airplane. We've done the checklist. I'm literally going to press start. I'm going to look down here. It's going to spin round N2. When that gets to 20%, I'm going to add fuel by... I can lift that up now. I'm sure you wouldn't do that in real airplane. And then we're going to... Oh, well, there you go. It doesn't work. But when this engine is accelerated a bit, we'll do that.
Easy 215, no further ATC, switch to Unicom 1228.
20%.
Unicom 128, so
Into... Come on. There we go. It's... No.
Minus 64 Papa Zulu, descend
oh, that's not gone well.
Feet to left heading.
No. It's added fuel. No, it's cut the fuel off. That was a disaster. Right, well, while we sit in shame about how badly that... Having said it's so easy, let's start the other engine. So yeah, so now we're going to start engines. That was just a test run. So we'll wait for 20% on the N2 here. Oh dear. Look at that, 23 degrees. It's definitely hotter than that where I am.
Speedbird 25 Romeo, descend to altitude 6,000 feet, QNH 1004.
Descend 6,000, QNH 1004.
Ryanair 64 Papa Zulu, when established on the localizer, descend on the glide path.
Right, 23%. Up. Why is it... That, I'm sure, didn't happen last time I did this.
225 Romeo, report you're heading to Heathrow, correction to Gatwick Director 126825.
Matthew would like the aborted start items. Yeah. Well, we're going to do them 3 times in a minute. What is going on? I've never had trouble. 20%. Lift up, move forwards, let go. I'm going to, don't touch it. I don't care that it shouldn't be. You shouldn't set it over idle, I'm sure. But let's get that engine started. And when I see the... I'm sure there was a valve indicator somewhere. Oh, maybe not. But anyway, when that's stabilised, I will do that. Yep, fuel pumps are on. Yep, I've made that mistake before. Absolutely. John's done the same thing with the engines. Excellent. Okay, the safety demo's going. Not sure what that caution was, but there we go. That's getting quite high on the end too. So let me just.
Tower, frequency 124.225. Goodbye. Easy 27
That
Yankee
is
Hotel,
concerning.
level 130,
Stand
level
by.
takeoff.
I think there's a problem with my control setup. I think I've. Yep, that's set up for the. Oh, I'm so sorry, everyone. There we go. CRJ, I thought I'd done that. There we go. Now it's set to idle. Okay. Okay. Number one's running. Let's start number two. This is pretty bad. I think this one's going to work though.
974, contact London 127.1. Goodbye.
Lauren V says we didn't get a chance to take the Australian FA in the CRJ home. No, sadly not. Next time we'll do another. We will get that Virgin Australia livery up and running on the channel because it is great livery. So much more to see in Australia. There's 20%. Click forwards. Don't touch it. That would explain a lot. Yeah, I didn't have the right profile in, so my everything wasn't talking to each other properly. Here comes the engine. Fuel flow. That's all looking good. Thank goodness. Matthew says the white items tell you the start. Right engine start. There it is. Yeah, great. Thanks, Matthew. Yeah, there's usually some indication. So I assume if that message disappears, we are done with the engine start.
Climbing flight level 180.104.
A few more cautions, but that's recovered. The right engine start's gone, and that's pretty much stabilising. You can usually tell an engine's sort of done a good start. Usually, when that EGT or ITT in this case starts to drop again, that's a sign it's reached its peak. It's coming into its self-stabilising area. Do you have the switches on thrust master turned on?
Golf Uniform November Juliet Kilo. Hello.
I do now. I don't know if it's going to make a difference. But yeah, I think it was the axes were all wrong, so that wasn't helping. Right, engines have started up, and we now can go through our after start check. Generators check, so they are in. Or check they're in auto. Electrics checked. Bleed valves are in auto. Bleed valves. It's quite a simple system. Literally just here, normal as far as I can tell. So that's all good. And bleed valves, sorry, are here in auto. Yeah, all very straightforward. Packs are definitely on. We'll use those for takeoff. APU we do not need anymore, so we'll turn that off. Anti-ice is off, not required. Nose wheel steering. Arms, let's turn on nose wheel steering. That's the after start checklist complete, but I'm going to do the flaps now because I think it's a bit crazy not to. So let's go for flaps 8. There we go. And let me just check my performance was done on flaps 8. Yes, it was. Leo would like a pre-flight. A pre-flight checklist. Yeah, exactly. Call sign is Danair 280. Greg. One says, does the horn button work? Where's the horn button? It may do. It may do. Right, let's get the taxi lights on. Where have they gone? Here we go.
Spirit 495, contact Heathrow 119725.
I think we'll call him now. London Danair 280, CRJ 700 on the ground in Southampton for clearance to Bilbao.
Easy 16 Yankee, contact Gatwick Director 126825.
126825, easy 16 Yankee.
Did that work? Doesn't seem too interested to speak to us.
Danair 280, Roger. Clearances to Bilbao via Dawley. After departure, fly standard noise abatement, then turn right, heading 270 degrees. Flying to flight level 90, squawk 54, tree.
Cleared to Bilbao via Dawley. After the standard noise, right, heading 270 degrees. Climb flight level 90, squawk 5433, Danair 280, and we're ready for taxi.
Danair 280, Roger.
Right, well, we can do this while we wait. The hardest thing to see.
Danair 280, runway 20 in use, taxi to holding point Bravo 1.
Taxi to Bravo 1, Danair 280, thank you. That is incredibly fortunate, because if it wasn't, we'd have a few things to change around. There we go, right, 9,000. So we climbed to flight level. He wants heading 270, so that just means we're going to take off on 20 and then we make a right turn after the 2,000 feet, which is our noise abatement, to 270. It looks like we're going to skip out the needle point. We can actually get the noise abatement from that chart that you guys will remember. It just says noise preferential from 20. As soon as possible after 500 feet, turn right, intercept sound 217 to 2000. So we're just going to do that, and then we're going to make our right turn to 270. We'll forget the needle point. Okay, we're clear for taxi, so let's release the parking brake, and that's taken us 50 minutes. Unbelievable.
069 now, bye-bye.
Luckily it's quiet, and none of you have put yourselves through the misery of trying to fly along on one of my streams these days. Don't need the ground pushback. Right, so we can run a flight control check at some point. I think we'll do that at the holding point, because we have a few checklist things to do. Check those brakes work, which they do, which is good. Important point here to get the correct way round for the runway, so we want to go to 20, so over here we go. Just like an LOE. Yeah. Right. Ah, there's someone flying along. Excellent. Let's go to flight controls.
Via Dorley, flight plan route.
Let's ignore what I said a few seconds ago, which is a really sensible idea, and let's just do it now. So let's full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, full left, full right, neutral. Yeah, I'm not sure where the rudder disconnect is, actually. I assume there is one, but I'm not 100% certain on that. Matthew will know. Good, so that is all done. Connect those, good. We need to arm the thrust reversers. I think that is daft, having to arm those separately. That's something I don't understand. We've got slats flaps 8 degrees and 8 degrees indicating. Don't want to forget to retract those like we did the first time we streamed this. We've got the flight controls check, trims, green, and the correct units. So the trims should be over here. Takeoff trim 7.1. So I need to set 7.1.
KLM-17 Victor, hello London Control, it's a Rocksock 1 Hotel.
Now I did find that this CRJ had a good habit of trying to take off on its own, so we'll see if that happened. Matthew says no rudder disconnect, amazing. Yeah, there you go. So I guess you just have to stop and just scrape the tyre, or do it while taxiing. Dexter is easy 27 Victor Hotel. 27 Yankee Hotel, excellent. Squawk, yes, thank you Kevin, great spot. Yeah. So we did the clearance, we did the flight level, and we've forgotten to do the squawk. Good reason to stop here and think about what we're doing. So we won't call ready yet. Let's set that squawk, which is going to be a mission in its own right. Squawk. Yes, that works. Good. 5433. Can I do it on my little panel? No, I can't. Okay, got to do it on here. Doesn't work with the Logitech. So I'm assuming the big one will do these numbers. So we'll scroll all the way up to 54.
BD 900, climb now, flight level 110.
5433.
Climb now, flight level 110, easy 99.
Yes, thank you very much. Great spot.
GPS 223, no further ATC available in Belgium.
The auto takeoff bug was fixed. Excellent news. Thanks, Kevin. I'm going to put my nav source to FMS.
Speedbird 5 on Bravo, descend flight level 100.
I'm assuming that's what we would have here. I don't see the point in having it on the VOR too much. Although I don't have a needle displayed. Can I bring up the VOR needle? I'm sure we can. Let's bring up traffic.
CC27 Yankee Hotel, descend flight level 80.
I'm not sure what difference that's making. Here it is. Here's the needle. Right, I want VOR1. Okay, good. So we can get onto the 217 like that. I think we're ready to go. So that is the taxi. So we've done thrust reversers on, flight instruments checked, brake temperature checked. If I get rid of the flight control page, we go back to stats, we'll see that the brake temperatures are all absolutely fine. So that's the taxi check complete. Next is before takeoff. It'll be lights and strobes and so on, so we'll save that one. Down Air 280 at Bravo, ready for departure.
Down Air 280, roger, enter 20 backtrack, line up, report ready for departure.
Enter 20 backtrack, line up, and we'll go. Down Air 280. Okay, so get this right as well. Brakes released, clear on the approach that way, clear on the approach that way. And make sure you turn the right way. So I need to backtrack, so I need to go left and go down there to backtrack. It would be very embarrassing to backtrack the wrong way. Get all those landing lights on and the strobes on.
Left
Make ourselves nice and visible.
Easy 9900.
And there we go.
27 Yankee Hotel, turn left heading 040 degrees.
Lucky passengers heading off on holiday. I'm sure they're very happy with that.
Easy 99900, climb flight level 230.
Climb flight level 230, easy 9900.
So there's somebody there flying along with us, which is great news. CRJ easily fits here, of course, especially if someone's been going here with the A320. Matthew says the thrust reverser switches is a holdover from the CRJ 200, which had pneumatically operated thrust reversers. So in that plane, you were actually turning switches, so it had to carry over to the 700. Ah, for the type rating. There you go. That's never fun. A hang up from an older airplane. The 737, obviously famous for that, but not the only one. It's quite common in the industry to have some old switch left over. Danny says, did that ever happen, backtracking the wrong direction? Probably did. I'm sure it's happened at some point. I'm not aware of it, thankfully, but yeah, I'm sure it's happened. Victor Tango, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Thanks for coming along. I will answer your Discord message a bit later. And he says, turning valve, not switches. Yeah, so it was actually connected to something. Yeah, instead of just allowing them. I can see that.
122.8W104, have a good evening.
APU door still open, left of APU start. Oh, good spot. APU door open. So there's no light up there to tell me. Yeah, it was powered on. That's funny. I would have expected a light or something on the overhead panel. This is why you guys are here. Good choice on runway 20 because we have a nice headwind for takeoff, which is what we wanted. Danny says, I have to say I'm learning a lot from Matthew. Thanks for that. Yeah, thanks, Matthew. Rosie McGowan, good to see you. Rosie says, hi, Skip, good to see you. Good to see you as well. Thanks for coming along. Cole says, what plane would you like, or would you want in the flight sim?
380, don't see you on the map.
Loads and loads. I'm really looking forward to that 380. I can't wait for that. That's going to be great. That's probably my top anticipation, although I know it's a long way off. There's some lights in the way. So we'll try and do a sneaky U-turn over here. He's told us to report ready, so let's see how we're going to do this. I think if we go here...
Channel 21 Alpha identified from present position, proceed direct.
Come on airplane, you can turn, There we go, that's more like it.
Proceed direct to Lima Golf Lima, Channel 21 Alpha.
You are just in time. I'm Richard V. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. No problem at all. It's a very sunny, hot day. I've picked the nicest day of the year to force myself to sit inside and run my computer at 70 degrees. I think that's going to work out. Right. Parking brake here, just because I'll forget otherwise. Okay, so let's run through the takeoff in our minds. Let's run them before takeoff. It's lights and strobes on. Fuel crossflow. Fuel and crossflow manual. So yeah, we need to turn off the fuel pumps for takeoff in the CRJ. Not the fuel pumps, sorry. We have to turn off the... because that would shut down the engine, wouldn't it? What do we have to turn off? Crossflow has to go to manual. There we go. Crossflow auto override. We force it into manual for takeoff. Flight attendant advised. Transponder TCAS is on and set. As far as I'm aware, it's set to TARA. Radar terrain display set, and final one then is I've lost my checklist. Here we go. CAS checked, so we can, if we press stat again, should get rid of those messages. Yeah, I suppose we should probably check the messages first. So we got manual crossflow. We want no smoking and seatbelts. Yeah, that's all good. So we'll get rid of that. Right. So what we're going to do is we're going to press the toga button, which is actually here, but we're going to cheat. We're going to press it up here. I don't think it's attached to the right thing in my thrust levers. I won't even try. And that should bring up the flight directors. We're going to set full thrust. Sorry, we're going to set 2 clicks forward for toga thrust, not full thrust, which is max power. And then we're going to accelerate down the runway. We'll take off, positive climb, gear up. 500 feet, we'll make a bit of a right turn to get on the 217. And then at 2,000 feet, we'll turn right, heading 270. After 400 feet, we'll put in speed mode up here. So speed. And we'll leave it in heading, or we'll engage heading mode. And then I'll be putting in the autopilot before it all goes wrong, if it doesn't already. Down Air 280, ready for departure. Danajay, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Thanks, Matthew. Yeah.
Down Air 280, roger, flight sound and noise abatement. Runway 20, clear for takeoff, ascension 200 degrees, less than 5 knots.
Standard noise abatement, clear takeoff, runway 20, down Air 280. Excellent. So, parking brake released, hold on the brakes, spool up those engines. Here we go. So hope all this works.
9900, climb flight level 330.
I'm going to try. I'm going to try.
330, easy 99.
No, it doesn't work. So it's going to be that one there, which is Toga.
Release
Release the brakes. 2 clicks forwards. There's Toga thrusts. And there we go. Engines are stable. That ground handling continues. Away we go. Still a short runway. It looks the right length just because it's so narrow, but it's actually it is noticeably short. 80 knots. Gonna have that stick to neutral. Probably doesn't need any downstick in an airplane with those high-mounted engines like that. There's V1 and rotate. Up we go. So yeah, it doesn't automatically take off anymore, which is great news. Positive climb, gear up. Got to remember manual thrust and manual trimming. Don't forget those things. Yeah, that trim wasn't a bit more nose down than perhaps I'd like. 500 feet, make our right turn now. That's a spurious GPWS. And we'll get onto that 217 until 2,000 feet, which we'll reach very quickly. And now I'm going to engage speed mode. I'm going to recenter the heading bug and put heading mode. I'm going to engage the autopilot. And there we go. So heading can come round a bit. So it was 217. There's 2,000 feet. So already, you see how quickly it happens, those noise abatement procedures. It's just a bit of a right turn away from the town, I think. And now I'm going to accelerate the speed up to 250. 220. You can do it. Come on, mouse wheel. There it is, 250. I'm going to bring the thrust back to climb. There it is. And we can bring those flaps up all the way. Now that is nicer with hardware, because it's the first stream I did, I missed the 0. We're climbing up to flight level 90, unusually, so let's set standard. There it is, 1013, 1013.
Singapore 380.
We'll leave that on QNH for now. And away we go, we've made it. And then I cut to that view and the flaps are out, the speed brakes are out, the gears are down. Oh. See if you can see anyone's house. So there's the takeoff. Amazing climb performance on this machine. It is very powerful, I do like it. James, good to see you. Piano says 380 is the most anticipated, especially coming from fly-by-wire. Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be fantastic, I'm sure. There's the Solent, but we've skipped that. So our original departure I wanted to do, we've done it actually on my group flight in the UK. We'd have taken off, gone right over the Red Funnel ferries, down towards the Isle of Wight, which is this island, and then the Needles, and that Needle waypoint will be over here. Would have been really good fun. Although the Needles aren't actually in Flight Simulator, sadly. They didn't add that. It's one of the many things. So I can see why they didn't get around to it. Right, getting to level off, so I'm going to do this myself, I suppose. So just reduce that power a bit. It's in climb 250. The nose should drop. Nice, thank you, says John. Yeah, thank you very much. I'm relieved. There's the 1,000 feet to go. We've got the rate of climb under control. Lovely. Yeah, very manual aeroplane. Climb check to come shortly. We'll do that once we've leveled off, I think. Pablo likes the HUD. Oh yeah, let's try it out. I think Matthew doesn't have the HUD.
Down at 280, report your passing altitude.
Down at 280, we're now passing 8,500 feet for flight level 90.
Down at 280, we're to climb now, flight level 260, resume our navigation, direct Dorley.
Climb flight level 260, direct Dorley, down at 280.
Descent A5 Delta, enter runway 20, backtrack, line up and report ready for departure.
Right, 260. So it's gone to heading and out mode. I'm going to press speed. There we go, and I can put it back to climb, so it keeps climbing. Let's scroll all that number in.
Golf landing 26 west.
Oh, this is challenging. Yeah, I think there's 26,000 feet, flight level 260. What I'd really like to see, we've accelerated a bit, but that's fine, is an autopilot control panel would be just great, wouldn't it? That you could have on the desk. It would be so useful for so many things, but it would have to be so flexible. It would need to be able to push and pull for the Airbus, or so I can see why it's tricky.
2328, hello, Roger.
I see that Ed has a nice FCU though from the Airbus, which looked great. Okay, that's worked out. Our en route climb, we'll worry about in a second. Let's do the climb checklist. So fuel cross flow needs to go to auto. Bleeds on an APU, they are all on, the APU is off. Thrust reversers can come off. And the CAS checked. So let's press stats and we'll get those messages back. No smoking and seatbelt, that's all we've got, that's all looking good. He also said direct.
1625, no further ATC, switch to Unicom 1228.
Where's direct? There it is, direct to Dawley. There it is.
Easy 9900, no
Execute.
further ATC, switch to Unicom 1228.
It stayed in heading mode, so direct to, two things to do. Let's press nav. And it's gone FMS1 towards Dawley. That's worked out as well. Oh, it's nice when it works. And away we go. John says a friend of mine bought an MCP that works with Boeing and Airbus, although it looks like a Boeing one. No way. There's some good ones out there, I'm sure. Oh, I'm guessing ice. There it is, ice. Yep. On. Oh, it's nice to have a nice warning up there as well. The warning light.
Chanix calling.
There's the HUDs. So, en route climb speed. Is there a way for me to see that? Does Matthew know? Matthew says, I believe there are planes we got from Alitalia.
Yes,
Whatever oh, there you go. Where am I going to find the en route speed? Target speed, climb, 290. There you go. So much of that sort of information is always hidden in VNav. Oh, please scroll. Oh.
Run control, Ryanair 4 to Papa Whiskey, frame 1 mic, passing
290 knots, there it is.
Ryanair 4 to Papa Whiskey, hello Roger, maintain 4,000 feet.
Matthew says about a dozen of our planes have HUD, but they are all deactivated, but all the hardware is still there. Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's very common. Airlines don't like software or hardware they're not used to, so they'll, even if it's nice new stuff that came for free, they often turn it off so they don't have to maintain it or train the pilots. Yeah, that's very common, sadly. REA, welcome. Fly Sky Airways, good to see you. Brandon says the scenery is amazing. Thanks for coming, Brandon, and I couldn't agree more. Piano Learner says, back to the SR-71 chat from the last stream. Did you ever see it flying? I remember seeing it along Mildenhall air shows in the 80s. It was impressive. No, I've never seen it fly. I really wish I could. Just the other day I was looking at YouTube videos of it, filmed from some air shows. I have to say, I've rewatched the Microsoft Flight Simulator video that advertises the upcoming Top Gun expansion, and it does look good fun. It does, and it would be great to have that natively integrated in the sim, so hopefully it's fully functioning like a really good F-18.
Dana 280 London.
Apologies, go ahead for Dana 280.
Dana 280 Unicom 1228.
Unicom 1228, Dana 280, thanks for your help. Whoops, had to happen eventually, nattering away. So we're on Unicom now. Thank you for your subscription to Sam Gaming. I hope you're doing well. Gabriel says, for why is used the speed button? So the speed button, let's put that back down. I didn't mean to close that. The speed button is here, and we can. So we don't have control of the auto thrust in this aeroplane. There is no auto thrust. Sorry, we have control of the thrust ourselves. So I'm telling the airplane I want to climb at 290 knots, and the airplane doesn't. It will just pitch the airplane to maintain that speed. So if I idle the thrust levers now, which I've got manual control over, you can see the nose drops because all it knows is it's trying to keep 290. Now I notice it's got some protection in it because it's not actually lowering the nose below level because it is trying to climb at 290, not descend. If I go to toga thrust, we'll see it gets to 290 and pitch up again. That's interesting, it doesn't lower the nose again though. I don't think the dash was that clever. We're on VATSIM, Gabriel. Padday says, do you use any weather add-ons? Nope, none at all. Tom Corwine, good to see you. Tom says, can you turn off the no smoking sign? I need to light up. Didn't get a chance on the ground. I wonder, we'll put it to auto. Matthew might know what that does. Seatbelts can go off. Landing lights can go off. Thor says, I'll just say one thing. Santiago Paradise, thanks for your subscription. I hope you're doing well. Piano Learner says, I remember Mildenhall was always sunny once had a Victor tanker spray fuel on us as we sat at the end of the runway as it finished its display. That's brilliant. Some older aircraft had a habit of dumping fuel out the wings. So wing count anti-ice on message there. That's like the NEOs. They do that now at the top of the display. Although actually they put it on the engine display for the those phases of flight. So I think we should just go up to our cruise. 37. 37, please. Oh, come on, my mouse. I promise I will not whinge about it once more during the stream, but I will use it as an excuse if anything happens on approach that where I'm not prepared and we end up getting something wrong or upsetting a controller. I will blame the mouse. Straight on the radio too. I don't mind. I've got no shame. Giuseppe says that the F-18 will likely be default level, targeted to the casual audience, but it means that it implements systems like afterburners in the SDK, and that'll be good for military add-ons. Yes. And if it's as... I remember the F-18 for Microsoft Flight Simulator 10X, FSX. I remember that being incredibly... I'm sure it was incredibly basic, but I remember not feeling like that. It was so functional. It was fast. It worked. Yeah, it was really good. So I hope it just works. I don't mind if it's not... it's not going to be DCS F-18 Hornet level. But... Oh, and the perfect irony is, of course, that I picked up the F-18 for DCS in the last sale. I know I've got other videos to work on DCS. I'm still practicing one of the missions in the F-14. But I got the F-18, and it's... so, of course, about a week later, they announced that they're making it for Flight Simulator instead. But I think having a carrier, if it has catapults and arrestor hooks for landing and all this sort of stuff, I think we could be looking at some good fun with it, certainly. Does anyone know when that... Oh, that's autumn, isn't it? That's coming out with the film. But yeah, it was not going to have all the weapons or anything like that. But if it goes supersonic as well, that'll be good news, won't it? This is made by Bombardier or Aerosoft, Thomas. Aerosoft. Matthew says, yep, there are 3 modes on that speed. Climb, descent, and IS climb. And descent will pitch for speed, but stop at level flight. IS, however, will chase the speed regardless of it. I see. So, not sure what goes on there. I'm going to have to leave the HUD out of the way because it keeps changing. So there is presumably an IS button. Oh, we can go to half bank now, can't we? Now we're up this high. I remember that. There we go. Doesn't happen automatically, of course. Oh, let's transfer. No, I'm not sure. We are still in toga. Yep, so we're getting a good climb rate. So let's put it to climb. And the airplane will protect itself by lowering the nose. Coming up on Dawley. Let's push heading. And let's get ourselves going the right way. Let's go to... That's not very much difference at this point, but there we go. And left it goes. Excellent news. So what can I see on my MFD? There's data. So top of climb is at 17:54, so in 9 minutes. By that point, we'll have 5,220 kilos of fuel, which is great news. At our destination at 17:45. Well, that's not right. And our alternate at midnight. We should have 4.7. Yeah, I'm not entirely convinced now about this. I think I've set something up wrong here. But anyway, not data. I needed a menu. Where can I see the terrain? Is it possible to get a terrain map on here? There it is. Terrain. Excellent. Cobra says, hey Captain, thanks. Double question. What is your favourite GA plane? Which one do you recommend for an intermediate pilot? In Microsoft Flight Simulator, my GA choice would probably be the Just Flight Arrow or Turbo Arrow. Turbo Arrow is probably a bit more fun because you get the Arrow 3 and 4, so you get both of them and you get a bit of extra power, so you can use it for a few different things. At climb thrust, it's just not managing, is it? Temperature outside. What's the temperature outside? Where's the ambient temperature? I would really like to see that now. Total air temperature -10, static -34. So we need to leave the icing on most likely. climb thrust isn't working. What have we done? What have we done? The gear is up. Speed brakes are in. Flaps are at 0. Is this realistic? Are these weights? Is climb thrust not going to be enough? That would be a bit of a shame. Matthew says auto mode on the no smoking or seatbelt signs essentially have the signs on when the gear or flap is down and off when it's up. There you go. So there you go. So Thomas, the no smoking sign presumably is off in the cabin. Maybe 290 is just too fast. If I go to VNav. Oh, it's the Mach number? No, we should be at Mach 0.74. I don't know. Very strange. There is a button for pressure to standard. We've already pressed it. It's actually this one here. It just sets 1013. It doesn't actually say standard like the Airbus. Yeah. We're going to have to do something about this shortly. Which airplane for an intermediate pilot, Airbus, is a difficult matter. It depends what you want to fly, really. Are you looking for an airliner? Sheppy says November. Yeah, November for the F-18. Thanks, Sheppy. Nicholas says, I saw a video of a flight in an A320 with CRT displays, and the ECAM looked quite different from the LCD one. Are there some significant differences between the two that you might have to train for? No extra training at all, but you're absolutely right. They do look significantly different. You'll be amazed, though, where if you just fly one and then you jump into an airplane with the other one for the first time, then you'll be like, oh, it's all different. And you'll have to sort of search around for some information. Soon enough, if you fly both regularly, you won't even notice. Yeah, I promise. It's amazing. But you're right, there are some differences. Fusion says, will you have a go with the PMDG 737 when it comes out? Oh, absolutely. Yep. After my Zebo mod flights, I'm feeling much happier now with that. Let's turn off the wing ice. See, I really like that. That is one of the best things about this. Well, there's loads of good things about this add-on, but they are really spot on with some of the performance things. So there you go. It was the wing ice. Wing ice is incredibly draining on the bleed air system, so the engines lose a lot of thrust. So that took a significant chunk of thrust, and now we're accelerating again. Yeah, Matthew says wing anti-ice. Turn the wings off. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, you're right, Simon. The terrain radar doesn't seem to be working. Let's go heading. There we go. Speed button on the MCP. Oh, I see. So that if we press that again. Oh, there we go. If we press it again, we get IS mode. But the risk now is it would descend. So let's put it back into climb. Pitch. Oh, there you go. You can cycle it through. So let's have climb 291. Thanks, Matthew. Matthew knows everything. M1 should be high. Yeah. Yeah, it seems to have been just that wing. See, the 320 would have no trouble. It wouldn't have struggled like that. The wing anti-ice does make a difference, but it's more of a fuel burn issue. Thanks, William, for your subscription. Hope you enjoyed it. And sensing. Pablo says, how strict is following the yellow lines on taxi? Yeah, pretty strict. It's more about, it's not your nose wheel that needs to follow those yellow lines. It's your main gear needs to sit over the yellow lines. The reason being, that's where you know you're protected from, clipping a obstacle or another airplane or something. Yeah. Lauren V has been having some fun creating virtual ILSs with FLS. It would be cool to see updated Toliss on the channel to demonstrate it. Oh yes, yeah. I must confess, I think I said before, that FLS system is not something I've seen. It's pretty advanced and presumably an option. So yeah, I'll have to have a look. Also, if it came out within the last year or 2 years now, chances of me having seen it are slim because it's we just don't get to fly. But not in the UK anyway. I know the rest of the world is, but John says wing ice could have been my problem too. Yeah, there you go. Flight says icing is a lot more realistic in Microsoft Flight Simulator now, so need to keep wing anti-ice on. Yeah, it is better. It is better because before we'd be covered in ice already. I noticed as well the contrails line up with the airplane, which is great news. Yeah, it's really moved along. The last few months have seen Microsoft Flight Simulator really, I think, settle down into where we wanted it to be, which is quite nice. Matthew says, we only have the wings on when we have an ice caution message or an icing condition and slower than 230. Ah, there you go. That's interesting. Icing and slower than 230. Yeah. So on the Airbus, doesn't matter what speed we're at, unless we see ice build up, we don't have to use the wings. But that's an interesting one. Thanks, Matthew. God, so much good information. Kevin says, I've got to go do some study for some upcoming exams. If you're still streaming when I'm finished, I'll definitely be back there. Enjoy the stream so far. Thanks. You're very welcome, Kevin. Thanks for coming along. Good luck with your exams. And yeah, maybe we'll see you later. Oh, look at that. Have I just not seen that before? Is that meant to be ice building up? I wonder. It's pretty gloomy out there. This does happen. These sort of high 20 levels, you can just sometimes be sat in the clouds. So hopefully we'll break out on top soon. If it's below -40, Matthew, can I turn off the engine anti-ice -42? I'm going to do it until you tell me otherwise. In the Airbus we can. The assumption being it's too cold up here. So now we get even more RPM, hopefully. Actually, 87.4. Nope, doesn't seem to make any difference. Strong headwind though, yeah, 47 knots. The video quality is way better today, at least on my end. Excellent news, Rich Tango. Yeah, I've changed nothing since our last stream, so I don't know what was going on. Kevin says, wait, I was on the phone when you guys were talking about cycling through speed modes. To use IS for the descent? We can use speed mode to climb or descend. There's three. There's climb, des, and then there's just pure IS. The difference being climb and des mode won't let you, they'll level off if you start going the wrong way, whereas IS won't. IS will just follow the speed up or down. It'll pitch up or down. Whether we should use IS for the descent, I think we use vertical speed for the descent actually. Hey Len, good to see you. Thanks for coming along. I hope you're doing well. York says, I'm following you in Lufthansa 85 Delta and a CRJ 7. Unfortunately, the model matching doesn't pick up the CRJ. Ah, that's a shame. Yeah, I didn't see a CRJ at the airport. That is annoying. Yeah. Oh, well. Well, thanks for flying along, York. I hope you enjoy it. Fly Terrestrials, have you ever used FS2 Crew or anything like that? No. No, I haven't. Lauren V says, FLS is something used on the 350, 320 NEOs and later CEOs. I think it would be very possible your operator didn't approve its use or removed it from software completely with the mixed NEO CEO fleet. Yeah, it's... yeah. It would have to have a use case. I'm certain it costs money to certify to some variety. Alright, so now we're trying to climb at 7.7. That's no good. So let's put that speed. I think it was 7.4 was supposed to be. There we go. Loads of performance. John says, thunderstorms forecast in the UK tonight. Lovely British summer. Yeah, well, we've had days of this hot weather, so it's you can definitely feel it. Feel the cool air. Might help sleeping tonight. Matthew says, less than 40, all ice off. Perfect. There we go. All ice is off. And this is the best moment of the job. Finally, we break out into blue skies. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Rule Paul says, are you using TTA Airbus Officer Pack? I am indeed. Juan says, did you see PMDG released the announced the release date, sorry, for the DC6 for June 18th? That's this Friday. Are you getting it? Yeah, I did see. Exciting stuff. I will be picking it up. Have they set a price yet, out of interest? Do we know what it's going to cost us? I need to watch all their videos. I don't know if I'm going to have time, sadly. I've got, yeah, a few things to do. Oh. Oh, come on. I'm trying to, there we go. Trying to get back to the flight deck for the climb. Hayden says, my homework was late. Dear. Yeah, I think everyone in the UK is looking forward to some fresh air. It's classic UK. We can't have it too hot and sunny for long, otherwise we'll be complaining about that. Lauren V says, would also cost money to retrain every single Airbus pilot in the fleet, and we all know how pilots feel about things changing in their aircraft. Yeah, you could show it to some pilots. I mean, if it helps us, we might like it, but there's plenty. There has to be a use case, so you've got to think about where you operate to, and is it going to help with that? Does it have a safety case? If there's no safety case for it, then it would just be seen as a toy that the pilots want. It's got to actually help the airline somehow, of course. Handler says, do you know how to fix the Toliss screens when they just become see-through and you can't see anything? No, I haven't seen that bug, I'm afraid, Handler. So no, I can't help you with that one. We need to stream the Toliss soon. It's been too long. Yeah, it's definitely been too long. That again says, why did you become a pilot? Just always wanted to. Little kid went on holiday, saw the flight deck, and was obsessed from that point onwards. Yeah, no trouble. Just, I actually remember sitting on the flight deck of, there's a long-haul airplane, a jumbo jet, over the Atlantic, and just, yeah, I couldn't believe it. And that memory's just sort of stayed in my head, as it does with a lot of people. Different these days, harder to get that sort of that luxury of being able to see the flight deck, and obviously impossible to see it in flight, which is a shame. Victor Tango said we had a week of hot weather, so sunny. Summer is over in the UK. Yeah, I could agree with that. Thank you to Dr. Wong for your subscription. Hope you enjoy the video. It is nice that Streamlabs has finally sorted out its videos. Its subscriptions. Victor Tango says, I think the motto, if it's not broken, don't fix it, applies very well to aircraft. Yeah. There will be a use case for it. Yeah, we're not managing to climb here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to swap to vertical speeds and just put in just a gentle vertical speed. We'll just keep climbing. I'm going to try 500 feet per minute up. Climb thrust, and we'll just have to watch that speed carefully. And check all the anti-ice is off. No, it's not. Let's get rid of it. Slight boost. Yep, there was a slight boost there. That's good news. Matthew says, my trip ends Friday night and then 6 days off after that, so that DC6 is going to work perfectly. Excellent, Matthew. Yeah, enjoy. I can't. I mean, this is. Oh, I'll start. I mustn't start talking too much about current events. It's not what we're here for. But it is nice to hear there's so much flying going on in America. Yeah. not happening here. But again, thank you for your subscription. Many years ago, said Mike. Yep, absolutely, when you're out on the flight deck. Rich Tango says, when I was a kid, I had the same experience on the deck of a ferry. The captain even let me put my hand on the wheel. Fantastic, yeah. That must be great fun. York says, Bilbao looks like Bilbao Tower is online. That's good news. Aristocrat says, one thing PMDG say in their videos is that a typical jet pilot will be caught out by the DC-6. Don't rotate. Don't idle the engines are two things. There's FMS1 out capture. Great news. Typical jet pilot. What are they inferring by that? Out capture. Thank you very much for your subscription to Fleetus. There we go. We made it. That was a slow old climb. We made that difficult, didn't we? But we've made it, and we are above the weather. If you were in a turboprop, a regional turboprop, you'd be sitting in that now, bouncing around in the ice and the clouds. Let's keep the speed up, so I'm just going to wind that on. Here's a question, Matthew. Where is my planned speed? It's not on my VNAV page, is it? Climb. Cruise. It says 7.4. There we go, so that was it. For some reason it still thinks we're in the climb phase, does it? Because I was expecting my legs. What on the left here, what is that showing me? Is that showing me the speeds? Not sure. Nope, it's a mystery. Anyway, we'll keep the speed up. We'll do a bit more than 7.4. We want to get there tonight. 7.8 should be possible. Yeah, so in terms of the DC-6, not idling, yeah, I can imagine that. 4 propellers. And I just to show off, I have flown a propeller aircraft commercially, and yeah, you didn't idle that before touchdown. You landed with power on, basically, because if you idled the engines to 0, the propellers actually cause drag. They're like big speed brakes, because they will catch the air. They'll go finer, which means that their angle relative to the air would be flatter, basically, and they cause a lot of drag. Same reason we actually feather them if there's an engine failure, because there's just too much drag from a spinning propeller. So yeah, I can imagine if you idle the DC-6 with 4 of those propellers, it will just plummet. Be like putting on the brakes in the air, which wouldn't be great. The rotation, that's interesting. I'll keep that in mind, that you don't need to rotate it. Yeah. That would make sense. So thanks, Aerosoft. Thanks for the heads up. Santiago says it was 35 degrees and all the doors open. Took some engines some time to cool down the cabin. Yes, I bet it would. Lauren V says Manta still allows some cockpit tours, albeit because I've forgotten to close the cockpit door occasionally. There you go, good to know. Yeah, spreading the enthusiasm around the world. Mike says, my first transatlantic flight, I got to sit in the jump seat on approach to Heathrow in a BA 747. Yeah, that's the dream, hey. If only we could have still done that. Yeah, that would have been great. About 85, says Mike. Yeah, fantastic. Juan says, I saw all the DC-6 tutorial videos and it looked like a really complicated plane. Yeah, I'm sure it is. I watched one that showed the flight deck layout and that was as far as I got. I remember I watched all of the CRJ tutorials. They did those fantastic tutorials. I don't know if that... what's his name? The dude? The YouTube channel, The Dude, who did all the tutorials for the CRJ for Aerosofts and was part of the development team, I think. He did fantastic tutorials on it through each phase of flight. I watched all of them, and then when we got the CRJ, I forgot everything, and I had to go back and read it and watch it all again. So I don't know if watching it's going to help me much. I find it drains out of my mind before I get to the actual aeroplane. Hayden is booking flights to Alaska tonight. Fantastic. I'm so jealous. Yeah, I wish we were allowing flying here. Evening, Dave. I hope you're doing well. Thanks for coming. York says Lufthansa is flying to Mallorca with a 747-8. Yeah, there you go. Well, Europe's more open. Europe itself, I believe, because of the, some people are able to travel, but not in or out of the UK. Santiago says Mexico is getting better, although I see like 8 787s fly between Cancun to Mexico City, so I guess international is doing poorly. Yeah, maybe the international stuff is a bit more quiet for now. Daniel says, is it bad to go at max cruising speed to make your journey quicker? It's a lot of fuel burn, so you wouldn't get away with it. You wouldn't want to do it day to day, no. In Flight Sim World, yeah, do what you want, yeah. It's interesting, we're not getting anywhere close. I can't get the speed up, and that nose is quite high. We're sitting at 4.5 degrees. I feel like we're sort of sitting on the back of the drag curve a little bit. I haven't got any more tricks. If I look around, are we too heavy to be up here? Is there a... Well, we haven't got any red markers. I'm going to go to Toga for a bit. And just see if I can get that nose down. I'm hoping that with... Oh, actually... Toga thrust was less. Why is it doing that? That's interesting. It's reducing power, even though the Toga limit's 89.5. It's reduced it to 84 when I've gone to Toga. At these altitudes, the difference between climb and Toga would be minimal anyway. 87.6 versus 89.5, so 2% M1 is just not going to matter. But I am slightly concerned by our speed and the fact we're sort of losing speed rather than gaining anything. Yeah. Interesting one. I don't know if there's any performance information around. Would it be from a manual, Matthew? I'm assuming we'd have to look it up as opposed to like the Airbus where we just press one page and it's just there. I know Embraers use big paper charts, or they certainly did at one point. Matthew says, yeah, but the speeds on there are just default program. The FMS has no real way of planning your speeds. We get ours from ACARS, and if ACARS is an op, normally around 7781. Yeah, that's what I was expecting to be doing. I feel like we're going to gradually lose speed like this because we're with that nose up there. I mean, 200 knots is nothing. 0.63. Igloo, or is it Greg? Good to see you. Thanks for coming along. Hope you're doing well. Aerosoft says, yes, drag is a factor, but idling the radial engine on the D6 for long enough causes them to seize. This is modelled. No way. Well, there you go. There's going to be loads to learn then. So that's piston engines. I can't believe they would seize if you idled them. I mean, that's not normal to a piston engine. That must be a unique thing. John says, I've had this problem before, ended up in max thrusts. Yeah. Yeah, speed's washing off. This counts as a reason to use max, I think. 89. Well, that is at least increasing. But I'm not convinced it's going to work, because with that nose up there, we're getting a lot of induced drag off the wings. So you end up in a situation where, if you're behind, it's called behind the drag curve, where the more you slow down, the more drag you get. So there's a peak point where there's minimum drag, and that's usually a relatively low speed. If you're faster than that speed, it means that the faster you go, the more drag you get from parasite drag from the air hitting the airplane. If you go slower than that optimum speed, where you get the minimum level of drag, you start to get an increase in drag, and that's because you're getting more induced drag, which is the drag caused by the airplane trying to generate lift. So now the nose is so high, we're getting lots of induced drag off the wing, and that's more of the drag than the parasite, or more of an issue than the parasite drag. So if we slow down any more, that drag will increase, the parasite drag will decrease, but this will increase more and more until we sort of get stuck, and that's probably why we're sitting at this T here. So pilots talk about it a lot, the power curve. Oh, we can adjust the brightness there. I haven't seen that before. So options here. Well, I don't want to sit here. This will take us all day. So let's go down. We're at 3735 it is. Let's go down in speeds. Des. And I'm going to wind that right up because I want it to just push the nose down and get that speed up. Tom Coyne, good to see you. Thanks for coming. We'll see you next time. York says, in the flight ops manual for United Virtual, they do not allow speed mode for the initial climb. Is this common? Oh, Matthew will know. Yeah, we are losing the speed, so down we go. BMD is going to be around 7.4. So that's the minimum drag speed would be 7.4, so we're well below it. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. So I'm going to bring my thrust back to climb, and I'm going to try and get it up to 7.4. Actually, thanks for that. Yeah, I found the same issue actually. Yeah, the climb, for some reason, it's giving us more thrust than Toga was. I think at least the max power one was working. Right, now I can actually hear some airflow on the outside of the airplane. Gregory says, I had the same issue and needed to do a clean install of the CRJ and do the updates again. That should correct the performance and cockpit textures. Ah, interesting. Yeah, so okay, so because I was using the Aerosoft updater, which was doing a good job. Because yeah, I can't believe we'd actually this airplane is more than capable. We've seen it. We should overspeed. Oh, Matthew says it's extremely thrust limited. Fair enough. Maybe we're just a bit too heavy. This one's out capture. I'm going to leave it at what class? I've got climb thrust. Okay, let's hope this sort of sticks. Lizzo 5, good to see you. Thanks for coming along. I hope you're doing well. It's been a while. Come on, airplane. I think that's working. Still accelerating, not really descending. So now I'm just going to force it into vertical speed. 200 feet per minute down. There we go. Okay, this should work out. Yeah, otherwise it's going to be a long old flight. Very interesting. Yeah, I need to reinstall it. This is clearly got a few issues. Actually says, I mean, in the same way climb is higher in one than Toga, I found cruise is higher in one than climb. Oh, I see. That's interesting. Oh. So if I bring the thrust levers back a bit. Oh, I must admit, I didn't realise there was a cruise setting. I didn't realise this swapped to cruise, but no, it seems to be 87.7. Cruise 85. So we'll leave it at climb, see what happens. Hopefully, all I need to do is maintain 7.9 and we'll be good. Patrick, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Matthew says, Skywest got themselves in a bit of hot water a decade ago after a spat of low speed events. They got them an altitude cap in the low 30s in the 200. Don't know if they still have that. Oh, how interesting. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, not ideal. Hopefully this will capture any minute now. John says, is it best to completely remove the CRJ and re-download it rather than updating then? Well, I've been updating using the Aerosoft updater, but it doesn't seem to have worked. Matthew says, we were trained to never end up slower than 7.4. There you go. I wonder if we... yeah, maybe I climbed too steeply at the end there, or let the speed get back too much and just couldn't recover it. How interesting. I think 35 will work for us. It's sort of given up on that vertical speed descent though. There we go, out this. And that's looking good, speed's increasing. I'll reduce it slightly. Gregory says, I also updated using AS Updater, but it didn't work, and after checking the Aerosoft website, it said you would need to reinstall first and then apply the updates. Okay. Okay, so maybe the Aerosoft Updater does work just fine once, if you weren't having this issue, but yeah, I'll definitely do that. Cloud Chaser says, I have the CRJ, but never fly it because I honestly don't get how to. Yeah, it's very different. It's a different sort of airplane. It's funny, isn't it? The CRJ was a huge release. Everyone was so excited about it. I haven't seen that much anticipation for an airliner in a flight sim for a long while. Maybe back in the original PMDG releases. And you just saw it everywhere. I mean, everyone had it, including me, and it was on every channel. And it's funny, and now we're on to the DC6, and that'll be the thing that's what we're going to see for a few weeks, and then we'll move on. It does not have auto throttle, Cloud Chaser. No, so you have to do all the thrust yourself, but it does have detents, a bit like the Airbus. John says, it could be worse. Last time I flew it, I flew the CRJ, I forgot to turn on the packs. It was -57. Excellent. Yeah, you might hear some complaints from that. Patrick says, is it a trim issue or is the plane just buggy? No, I wouldn't say that. I've had no trouble with the CRJ. This paint thing would be the first issue I've seen, and it sounds like I just need to do a fresh install because I haven't heard this as a complaint. I have been looking around, and it seems like they've done a great job smoothing out. I think there were like 2 bugs that I found when flying it when it first launched, which isn't bad for an airliner, and they weren't crippling. You know, it still worked. So the reason we ended up like that was probably because we are relatively heavy. If we look at our mass and balance, we seem to be off the scale for trim, but we were sitting up here, so we were, you know, at a reasonable weight, certainly above max landing weight, and then went straight up to 3.7, and I got really slow in the process. So all those things combined seem to have bitten us eventually, which is not understandable, put it that way. A bit more thrust, but now we're down a bit. It's working out just fine. Cloud Chaser says, so I'm guessing you'd have to monitor the speed for the whole flight. Yes, you would. Yeah, but don't worry, we monitor it in the Airbus as well. But yeah, you do have to keep an eye on it. Basically, though, the reality is pilots, and I'm sure Matthew's the same. Victor Tango, thanks for coming along and enjoy your dinner. We'll see you a bit later. Having another barbecue, Victor Tango. Excellent, enjoy. Yeah, so when you have an airplane that doesn't have auto thrust, the pilots, firstly, they're used to it. So coming to a level off or any sort of turn, the pilots will be it just becomes instinctive because they do it all day, every day. If you take a jet pilot who's had auto thrust and put them in a plane without auto thrust, then it takes them a bit of time to wake up to that, because you'll need to remember every time you level off to add power and so on. When it comes to the cruise, however, things are quite stable. You know, we're at a relatively high thrust setting. In fact, we're slightly over the cruise setting there, you can see, if I bring it back a bit. So, you know, we have not a whole lot of changing to do. You just sort of leave it there. And the speed won't change too much, but you can change it a few percent here and there. The pilots will also get good at knowing how much thrust to use at each flight level and so on, so you'll get used to it, and it won't be as consuming as it might feel at first compared to an Airbus or an auto thrust aircraft. Oh, there was a flash. Do we have a weather radar? Radar terrain. So it says terrain. Let's put that radar on. Weather. Normal. I think I have to press it again. Weather. And the TA, someone did, this came up before. The TA means tilt auto, I think. Gain +0. Oscar Golf Kilo, good to see you. Thanks for coming along. I hope things are going well in Canada. Thatcher says, haven't tried it yet myself. Trying to get my head around the 320 NEO. Excellent. Santiago asks, does anyone know what's the deal with the Mitsubishi CRJ? Nope. I don't know, I'm afraid. Daniel says, in the A320, how do I enter variable wind into the magnetic wind in Perth? I like variable 6 in the METAR. Good question. If you find an answer, tell me. There's a few ways to think of that. So the purpose of entering the wind into the Perth page in the 320 is for the ground speed mini. So if you know what ground speed mini does, I do have a video on it. Basically, you're going to put that wind in. If the airplane on approach feels that the wind in the air before touchdown is higher than the wind on the ground, i.e. there's more headwind, sorry, not higher, just more headwind, it will actually fly you at a faster speed. It will add on a component onto the approach speed. The reason being that as you descend, you're going to lose that headwind, therefore lose energy. By doing this, the airplane can keep the thrust setting about the same for the whole approach. It also means if a big gust comes, let's say you have a 10 knot headwind on approach and 10 knots headwind on the ground, so your ground speed mini is doing nothing. Your Airbus will be flying exactly at approach speed. Then you get a 10 knot increase, a 10 knot gust, so you've suddenly got 20 knots of headwind while flying down the approach. The ground speed mini will actually add that 10 knots onto the approach speed, so the engines, instead of coming back to idle or lowering their thrust, which you don't really want to do, it would actually try and keep it where it is and hold the same ground speed. Now, in the 320 NEO, sadly, it's reduced. It's only 1/3 of that headwind component gets added on, so the effect is nowhere near as pronounced. In fact, it barely does anything. I don't know why. I really like ground speed mini. I think it's a bit of a shame. But anyway, that's how it is. So, why did I bother with all that? The result is, if you have a variable wind and you put in that wind, let's say, so it's variable 6 knots, so it could be 6 knots from any direction. If you put in that 6 knots all tailwind, because you could make it up, if it's variable all the way around, you could put in whatever direction you feel like. If you put in full tailwind, but it isn't, the airplane will actually add speed because it will think there's a headwind increase on approach, so it's going to add that component onto your V approach. Now, it won't be much, especially at 6 knots, but it's, you know, that's something to think about. So you'll actually find that all the way down to touchdown it will hold a bit of extra speed, which can make the landing more challenging. Likewise, if you put it all as headwind, but it's actually a tailwind in real life, it won't add anything. Is that right? So, anyway, there are some implications to putting in the wrong wind. What the actual answer is, I'm afraid it seems to depend. Sometimes I'll just put it as a crosswind because it won't make a difference, but by putting it as a crosswind, it won't provide it with too much ground speed mini. Sometimes I'll put it in as a headwind because presumably air traffic will be trying to land you on the headwind. So if there's more likelihood of that, there you go, some thunderstorms down there. Anyway, that is a really long and confusing answer to a question I don't have an answer to. But there you go. Giuseppe says the weather radar does not work in the CRJ. Ah, that's a shame. Yep. I hope we get these weather radars working soon. Chris047 says the same. Yep. There we go. Oh dear. Brandon says, did you see the video of the glider pilot circling a small tornado in the USA? No, I haven't. That sounds amazing. Wow, there's a thing to do in a glider. There's a classic sunset on this channel off to the right hand side, where all our timings and streams tend to be. Matthew, got a call from the chief pilot. Very good. Is that your yeah, your new we called out for a promotion, I hope. I don't think we had any questions. I think we managed to stay out of trouble for a little while there. We will set up for the descent shortly. There is Bilbao there, which is 160 miles away. Yep. Making some good progress now. Hayden says, I am going to the gym in a sec with you on my headphones. Excellent. Excellent, Hayden. Well, if anything can motivate a high-paced, heart rate increasing workout, I'm sure it's one of my 3-hour streams. Excellent. Igloo says, I have a 320 NX question. My last few flights in Microsoft Flight Simulator with the fly-by-wire, when I'm at top of descent, it seems to change into approach mode. I set open deads as my new out, but it doesn't descend. I need to vertical speed. I have not seen that. I have not seen that bug, I'm afraid, so I can't help you with that one. Yeah, strange. Simon says, always love seeing a sunset in the sim. Yeah, it is nice. It is nice. Oscar saw the glider video this morning. It was completely crazy. Gosh, I'll have to look this one up. Thanks, Matthew, for your subscription. Matthew says, just gives me a heads up and asking if I'm comfortable using it for... Oh, sorry, Matthew Presley says, just going to be getting an aircraft today that they want to test the new A-Car's weight and balance software on. Just giving me a heads up and asking if I'm comfortable. Very good. Oh, that's nice. Nice of them to ask you. Rakon were like, audio description. Yeah. Yeah. The CRJ continues to fly straight and level. Daniel says, I have a silly question. No such thing, Daniel. Is it true that the captain and first officer have to eat different meals in case food makes one sick? Once upon a time, that was an issue. The food standards are very high these days, so it's less of a concern than it once was, because there's a lot of criteria, refrigeration and so on that goes into it. But if you think of it another way, if there's 2 crew meals going, they were both the same, you can guarantee that there'll be a lot of upset pilots because they want a bit of a choice. Ashley says it's ILS runway 30 in Bilbao. Excellent news. Thanks very much, Ashley. Thanks for the heads up. 30 is a nice approach down the valley. Yeah, exactly. Should be nice. Should be very nice. Thanks for your subscription to Neil. And Bradley. Yeah, excellent. And Matthew, if I didn't say so. Right. Simon says the classic question that comes up after airplane movie. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it does. Yeah. Yep, having the fish, the everyone's favourite. It is a good film. I haven't seen Airplane in years, and I think when I was younger I watched it 10 times at least. I'm going to have to watch that again. I wonder if it's on Netflix. Right, our arrival today is via Mapax. So I'm going to just start preparing a few charts. I'm having a miserable time with charts these days. Okay, here we go. Mapax to Quebec. Can I find the chart properly? To Zulu. There it is. There's a 2 kilo. But I think, I'm assuming the kilo does not go for the runway. So MAPAX to kilo, runway 30 arrivals, and 30 RNAV arrivals. Goodness me. Okay. Oh dear. Right. There you go. Here's the charts, everybody. Me and charts, honestly. Right. 2 kilo to Quebec. So we're coming in via MAPAX. Massive DME arc. So I'm going to tune up this VOR. We'll make sure the airplane does. All the way around. Then a 2 kilo takes you in on the shorter route, and the 2 Quebec takes you in to the Sarah on the wider route. Let's have a look. RS30. We're going in via Sarah. Okay. So that makes that easy then. We know which one we're going to do. It's going to have to be... Thanks, James Brown, for your subscription. I hope you enjoy the video. We're going to be doing the Quebec. Look at that for charting. I hope you guys know what I mean when I complain about charts. Look at that. That is one line that splits into 2, and they have separated it with that. That is how they've labelled the 2. Separate. That's where they deviate from each other. Otherwise, they're always the same. And unbelievable. Unbelievable. Look at that. Anyway, round we go to Sarah. And then from Sarah, in theory, 6,000 feet is too high, because Sarah is 18 miles out from the VOR, which is actually the other end of the runway, so you're even closer. So if you're at 6,000 feet at Sarah, you are going to be... We've had this before. We did this exact approach before on the channel, I remember, in the 7.5. You're going to be too high. 6,000 feet there with less than 18 miles to go to the runway gives you a more than 3 degree descent already. So we could either dive down, or if we follow the procedure, I think I'm going to try diving down today. There's some more lightning. But if we follow the procedure, we'll come round the arc to Karma, we'll go to Sarah, and then we would do a hold, 6,000 feet holding altitude. But when we leave the hold, we'll leave at 6,000, go overhead at Sarah, 6,000 feet, point on 117, descend to, out to 22 miles, still at 6,000 feet. Then as we turn inbound and pass 18.6 here, we can descend. So it's only 0.6 of a mile different. It's not much difference at all. It's going to be a bit of a tight one. Oh, sorry, no, it's 18.6 IBL. It's 20 miles BLV, so it's 2 miles different. It's 2 miles. Yeah. So that's quite a wide hold. That's an 18 to 22 mile hold. So that's how you would get down. But I think I'm going to try it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come Karma. We're going to go to Sarah, and then we're going to be so slow when we get here. We're going to have to speed back. We're going to have flap 8, maybe flap 20 out. I think flap 20, and then we'll start down, and we can even use the gear if we need to. And then we'll just go from Sarah, and we'll dive down from above onto that RS. Because flying the hold is very wasteful if we don't have to. I don't know if that's a likely achievement in the CRJ. We shall find out. That's way too many charts. Working charts yet. We have the freeware scenery, so it looks great. So landing on 30, long inset threshold, so we lose a bit of that landing distance. So the actual landing distance on 30 is going to be 2,100 meters. Yeah, 2,100 instead of the 26. So that's a lot of runway missing. So we'll land over the runway. Then we'll come along, vacate Charlie 5, manual brakes in this airplane, off and onto the terminal over here. It's a very cool looking terminal. You'll see what I mean when we arrive. I really like it. I might have to rewind the sun to make sure we can actually see it. So that's the plan. So issues for this approach, no terrain issues initially, nice, but then 7,000 foot MSA as we start down. So we'll follow the procedure. We'll be using the Quebec. Yep, so we're going to be 6,000 feet along after this 067 radial. So I'm going to need to display the VOR needle, which we have got displayed here, VOR1. Oh, you can't see that, sorry. Yeah, so we're going to make sure we have VOR1 displayed so I can track this. Then I'll see as we cross the 067. Then I'll know I can descend to 6,000. It may even be in the coding. And then after 092, we can stay at 6,000 and stay at 6,000 all the way to Sarah. So actually, we don't need to be too rushed with the descent around this arc. Air traffic could, and are likely to just radar vector us off this, so they may cut us in a bit tighter. I don't know what they're likely to do in this situation. Because if I was... DME arcs are very wasteful. I'd much rather fly Mapax to Karma, so Mapax, Karma, and then round into Sarah. I mean, why not? Or even better, radar vectors. So you'd come along here, base leg, and then all possibilities. We just need to be careful of the terrain. We should be visual. We should be visual. Let me grab the weather for Bilbao. Why didn't I add these earlier? It's because I forgot. Oh, I'm getting a nice cool breeze. And the sky's going grey. So, yeah, the thunderstorms are here for the night. I need to remember to close my windows. Right, Bilbao is sitting in vicinity thunderstorms. No surprise there. Hence the flashing outside. In CBs 340 8 knots. So calm winds. So the thunderstorms probably aren't directly overhead. And vicinity thunderstorms would give that away. There are a few 3000 CBs in the area. With that light wind and the fact that it sits at the end of a valley, it probably suggests... So, as the day has worn on, the reason... It's no surprise they're on runway 30, because it's going to have been a hot day. Air over the land will have warmed up. Warms up quicker than the sea. So the land heats up, the air rises, and that draws air in from the sea because the air here is rising, so it has to be replaced, so the air gets drawn in from the sea. That gives you a sea breeze. So by the afternoon, airports near the coast will usually have the runway facing the coast like this because of that sea breeze effect. It's a very light sea breeze by this time of day, and we have thunderstorms around, but with that gentle wind, but then it's being drawn in, and then they're going to be blocked by all this terrain, so they're probably not going to move very fast. So yeah, if there was a big thunderstorm over the airfield, it might take a while to get rid of it. Might take a while. We usually, airline pilots typically sort of think in the lines of about half an hour. If an airfield suddenly closes while you're arriving because of a thunderstorm overhead, usually it sticks around for half an hour, but that's very rough, and that's certainly not a rule. That's just a guesstimate. Anyway, I've just talked for ages. I'm sorry, I've missed a lot of questions probably. Giuseppe says, isn't the procedure to be 4.9 at Sarah, or am I misreading it? Let's have a look. Sarah is 6. The 4.9 is... So it's 4.9 if we were doing the straight in. So if we could go, possibly... What does that number 1 say? Is there a restriction on that? 1 is 297, 6,000. I mean, look at that for a piece of information. I think that's 297, 3.9, 6,000. Anyway, we could go Karma in at 6,000 feet, and then at 18.6 descend to 4.9 and pass Sarah at 4.9. But if we fly procedurally, i.e. we have to enter the hold, then we'd be at 6,000 feet over Sarah initially, which is this 6,000 here at Sarah. And then we'll go outbound, back in again. It's terribly drawn, but yeah, back in, and then passing that 18.6 we could descend. So if we do a straight in via Karma, then that could also work nicely. Yeah, that would be absolutely fine. Because as you say, we can go down to 4.9 before after 80.6 and by Sarah. Yeah. So I don't know. I overcomplicated it in my mind. Really, we can just go in via Karma. Yeah. Why did I do that? Initial approach fixes Karma. So this is the problem. The star, it says Karma, and then it has us at 6,000 feet to Sarah. So the star doesn't let us descend early. I'm not allowed to go below 6,000 if we're flying procedurally. So if air traffic let us, we'll get away with that. Yeah, if that makes sense. Okay, it's going to be time to descend soon. Oh, sorry, I was saying all that without showing you guys a chart. That's Navigraph for the charts. Thanks, Eric, for your subscription. You need a mic show for that line. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it is terrible charting, isn't it? Thomas says, is it normal for a plane to have car-style windscreen wipers? They have windscreen wipers, not necessarily car-style. They're usually a lot more powerful. But yeah, just for the final approach. Now that looked like St. Elmo's fire. So that would be the lightning, or the lighting effect on the windscreen, not actual lightning outside. I wonder if it's supposed to be that. Tom, I will be buying the DC6. Yeah, I'll have to do that. Being a YouTuber, we have to have the DC6, obviously, on the channel. Thomas says, we need to find somebody who not only knows how to fly a plane, but also didn't have fish. Yeah. Karma. Ralcon likes that one. Yeah, very good. Right, apologies. I missed a load of chat. Matthew says, dear me, arcs are great when you're paid by the minute. Yes. Chickpoint says, I'd love some thunderstorms. I think they are only arriving tomorrow in here. Just sweating out of my chair. 28 degrees. Oof, that is a bit much. It's already raining for John. Oh no. Oh, I can't get to my windows now. I'm streaming. Kevin says, holds work in the CRJ. Yes, they should do. Yeah, that would be good. That would be good. Checkpoint says you need to install the new Navigraph plugin. Yes, I thought about it. I looked, but it did say it would fiddle with some settings in the background, so I thought I won't do that an hour before the stream, but I will try that. Hayden would like the helicopter still. Yes. Yeah. Sorry, that's gone missing. So of course we had the Just Like Turbo Arrow. Then we did the Stearman review. By the way, if any of you haven't seen the Stearman review, it's up on the channel now. The video is feeling a little bit unloved, so if anyone would like to watch it, that would really make it feel a little better. But the people who've watched it seem to have enjoyed it, so that's great. And it was good fun to do. The Stearman's a fun aeroplane. ETA, Jack, is not long. In fact, I need to put in the actual arrival. I've been talking about it. We haven't done it. So we're going to do the ILS, next page, ILS 030 via, let's try, there is a plan view there, that looks like it. Let's try via the map back to Quebec. Arrival data. ILS 30. It's a 3.4 degree glide slope. There you go. That should have been discussed. Elevation 130 feet. So let's execute that. Let's go to the legs and just check what's going on. So Nenem to Mapax. Zoom in. This is where the CRJ is just fantastic. Then I can scroll. There we go. Mapax. Not allowed. Okay. And then round we go, round the arc in 117, Sarah, and then vectors, and then BLV 15. Okay, how does that tie up? Seems to have missed out the point we wanted. Oh no, previous page. 117, Victor. I'm not sure why it's done that, but that looks pretty reasonable. Let's just check departure arrival again. ILS 30 Zulu, yeah. Via Mapac to Quebec, yeah. I don't want vectors, I want Karma. There's Karma. Mapax to Quebec. Execute. Now if we go to legs, Nenem Mapax, and then onto the arc. So let's delete the discontinuity, execute that. Now it takes us around the arc, and if we go to the next page, it's still missing Karma. I don't know why, but that's close enough. That will work. Oh, there's Karma, and then in we go. Perfect. Now, why it says Sarah and then Karma, that's going to be more of the question. You didn't put the via Karma if you wanted. Sorry, yeah, thanks LJ4s. What I'm curious about is why that arc finishes so in. Yeah, no, we can't do the arc. We have to go via Sarah. So that's going to take us back outbound again. So that's fine, but we're probably going to get vectored off this. Yeah, let me show you. So our arc takes us here. I thought that this curve was it skipping Karma. It's not. It's just not a way of doing it. If we use Karma, we've got to go to Sarah at 6,000, and that's why it doesn't let us descend early. We're not actually going via Karma. We're going via Sarah, and we're skipping Karma. I thought this was just a curve to show us going past it, but no. So we've got to go in, around the hold, and back in, unless air traffic vector us otherwise. So I'm going to leave it with the Karma point in, because there seems to be no straight in, unless we dive down from Sarah, which would be possible. We'll see what air traffic clear is for. I'm a bit curious to find out now. Either way, we're about to miss we have missed our top of descent, I have no doubt. So that is the arrival setup. Some minima we should put in. So the minima is going to be, for a Cat C, 310 feet, 438 baro. So MDA. push it. There we go. You've got to click it in. Let me go to the charts. And we want 438. Obviously, we'll round that to 440. That is a bad chart. I agree, Matthew. That is one of the worst. Yeah, I'm quite surprised. And we've actually done it before on the channel. Where's the map view gone? There it is. Right. What else do we need to set up? We've done departure arrival. And VNAV. Still got the climb phase. Not sure why. So we would get a top of descent, I believe. If I go, is it direct page? NEN 370, MAPAX 370. Well, that's... Why does it want 370 for all of those points? And then it wants us to descend on the arc. So that arc is a lot of track miles, yeah, as we said earlier. Where can I see my total track miles to go? Progress. Distance. 43 miles to Pepet, 26 to NM. 208. No, we're doing fine. Yeah, again, that arc is the issue. See, no need to panic. Never any need to panic. Still sitting in the cloud, though. Karma is you know what. Never skip Karma. How could you, says Rakon. No, no, okay. Well, in that case, to go to Karma, we're going to have to go out and back in again. Thanks, Chickpoint. Thanks for watching the Steerman video. Thanks, John, as well. Chickpoint says, I can get you some extra views, Susan Foxes. No, don't worry about that. No, as long as you know, as long as people who watched it enjoyed it, then it's worth making. So if you guys are enjoying the review videos, then I'll keep doing them. If you're not fast or you're not enjoying them, then you know we won't. It's up to you guys really. I just like, you know, I like putting together little videos and the external shots and so on. I do have fun. Neil says, Xbox 27th July, can't wait. Looks great with the fly-by-wire mod. It will be great. And can the fly-by-wire mod be downloaded? I assume being on the marketplace it can. It should be amazing. Jack says, has the CRJ been updated or is it still buggy? It's not very buggy at all. No. Ignore my white panels. This is my fault. I should have reinstalled it. Matthew says, we see St Elmo's fire fairly often when around storms. It's not just a volcanic ash thing. Yeah, St Elmo's fire is a good sign that you're sitting near to static electricity, to a thunderstorm. Quite common in this sort of wispy cloud as well. Yeah, it is quite common. Maxim, good question. Maxim says, if you see St Elmo's fire in flight, would you immediately turn away due to possibility of volcanic ash? No, unless you know you're near a volcano. My assumption would be I'm near a thunderstorm. Big thunderstorms coming, says Harry. Yeah, oh, exciting. Bit of St Elmo's fire in the UK. Lauren would like a Hawaiian volcano flight. Fantastic. That's an idea. Manos says, left my ATPL studying to watch you, the best break. Thanks, Manos. I hope your studying's going well. I wouldn't take anything I'm saying here as useful for an ATPL test. Don't panic, did you bring your towel, says Matthew. Excellent, yeah. Yeah, that's all you need. Kevin got caught up with by Karma. We are enjoying this waypoint. Isaac, good to see you. Thanks for coming along. Checkpoint says, I enjoy the videos, especially the shots. You're getting quite good at making them. Are you still using a controller? Sometimes it looks like you're trying to track the plane with an actual camera. Yeah, I'm using the controller. And trying to replicate that sort of camera look. Yeah. It does amuse me, but they are incredibly time consuming. You know, as I've said before, making a video, a one talk through tutorial is not as time consuming as a, I mean, look at in the Steerman video, I filmed several liveries, several locations. Sounds great, doesn't it? Sounds all very exotic, like it's actually actually some sort of film studio. But yeah, so I try to avoid just doing a flight in it and saying, well, here's a review. I try and show it off in some other situations or some other liveries at least. Lauren V says, fly-by-wire on the marketplace was particularly for the Xbox release, not bothering with on PC. Yeah, I'm just using their own installer on PC. I'm too scared to try and change it around. This is Maggie, good to see you. This is Maggie says, what's up? Been very busy at work today, but we'll definitely watch later on tonight. Thanks for the stream as always. You're welcome, Elitist. And yeah, I hope work's not too stressful for you today. Sanders, thanks for coming along. If that's how you'd like your username to be pronounced. And yeah, glad you enjoyed the videos. Thanks for coming to say so. Really appreciate it. 2 Point says, if only we could review planes like that in real life. Yes, I know. Wouldn't it be great if we could get the channel sponsored by Cessna or someone and they give us a plane to go and fly? Neil Brock, thanks for coming along, and glad you enjoy them. Thanks, appreciate it. Very kind. If you are enjoying it, do please hit the like button. But I must say, we got 226 viewers, 185 likes is very kind. So thank you all for hitting the like button. Right, Matthew, is there anything else we need to do here? And should there be a top of descent marker on the nav display? That is my question. If we go direct to map axis at 37. Going to be above flight 100. I do find this page confusing. Look at this. It's got this. It wants us to go from 37 to 37 between MAPAX and MAPAX. It's got a repeat of MAPAX. So let's not delete it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go direct to the second MAPAX and execute. And fingers crossed that will clear that up. So now back on the direct page. Oh, I see. It needs a huge rate of descent because it thinks I'm going to try and climb because it thinks I'm at 37. So if I go to the VNAV page and go next page, put the cruise in at 350. No, it won't work. It wants F350. You start to get your head around aeroplane logic eventually, don't you? So here's the restrictions, but that's not what we're going to fly. No, that didn't work either way. It wants us to do 41,000 feet per minute. It doesn't want us to descend until a bit later. Matthew says, yes, there should be. Watch the stream that didn't have it. Issues with duplicated POC. Deleting the duplication, fix that. Okay. So maybe I need to actually delete. Oh, well, it's gone now. Ooh, I shouldn't have done the direct. See what happens when we turn around. I'm just going to use my progress page, which helpfully says distance to the airport 160 miles, so we're still fine for distance. Evening, Andy. Good to see you. Thanks for coming along. Or did Andy... sorry, Andy, if I missed you. Oh, Andy, there you go. Andy says, good evening. Horrid, sweaty day to work in. Oh, dear, yeah. Andy, I hope you haven't been driving around on the motorway, or I hope you've got a nice air-conditioned bus today, or coach. I shouldn't say bus. I'm sure you're not allowed to do that. Right, that half bank is causing us an issue here. Am I allowed to go full bank? Because we're missing that one quite badly. It's going to have to work its way back over to the DME. What we can do is let's go to radio and just check we have the VOR tuned. So we're about to fly this arc based on the 115.9. It's already tuned the ILS. As I've got these waypoints, that's the radio 067. What should I do? I sort of I could put it in box 2. There we go. So I'm manually tuning VOR 2. Now I'm going to change this needle over here. It's on VOR 1. So I'm going to get rid of that. There's VOR 2 needle. So the VOR should be in front of us. Well, it isn't. It's not picking it up at all, in fact. Do we have a controller? I think not. Oh no, we do. Tower 118.5. And 118.825 is an ATIS. So let's grab the ATIS. Yeah, that needle's not working at all. Why is that? 115.9. Very strange. Anyway, we know these waypoints are actually here, so we can descend according to these anyway. Right, 80s for Bilbao. Let's just write down the key information that they're going to ask us. ILS 30. Transition level 7075. We must remember that. So pretty high up. 290 at 9 is the wind with a bit of varying. So pretty light. Visibility 8 kilometers in light rain. Few 800 feet. Scattered towering cumulus 2,000 feet. Broken 3,000 feet. Alright, it's not going to be a very spectacular approach. It's going to be a bit miserable. 20 degrees on the ground. That's cool air from those thunderstorms. Cooling it down. QNH 1011. Temporary moderate showers of rain. That's information Charlie. Alright then. So, the view won't be as nice as I'd hoped. Look at this. That's not good the way we've gone around the houses here. Air traffic wouldn't be pleased with that. Butty 2, good to see you. Butty says, evening all again, been lurking in the background. OpenReach have given up and gone home. Now streaming about 3 to 4 minutes behind the real action. Terrible. Ah, that's a shame, Butty. But thanks for coming along. Sanders says, what kind of Airbus do you fly in real life? Short haul family of Airbus, Sanders. Daniel says, would you ever film yourself in real life flying? Maybe even GA if you don't want to film at work. Certainly not at work. That wouldn't ever be allowed. Unless I got, some very special permission. I mean, I might ask one day if, right, but this is not working at all, is it? What have I done? Let's go, let's update the heading. Let's go to heading mode. Get that nose back round and try and get it towards that point. The FMS has gone to lock 1 in blue. Is that an issue? Don't see why it would be. Let's start down. So let's go down to, no, let's keep the heading mode going round. I'm going to point right back at that waypoint and we're going to descend down to flight level 80, the last flight level, because I don't want to get myself too high anymore. Then I'm going to go into vertical speed and drop the nose down, start with 2,000 feet per minute, and I'm going to idle the thrust. I'm going to get rid of that half bank because that's limiting us too much. There we go. Yeah, thanks Martin. Yeah, it does not seem to be happy. I'm not sure what I've done there. Not sure what I've done. Anyway, we do have those waypoints still. For some reason my VOR won't shoot. 1159, is that definitely right? Should be. Dana J says, wish I had more time to practice the A320X. Until then, I gotta learn all I can from your vids. Yeah, I hope the vids help you, Dana J. I hope they help you out when you get more time for it. Andrew says, Microsoft Flight Simulator FMS drives me crazy. Yeah, the lateral navigation is something I'd like to see improved, obviously. 32 got 0.5 megabytes internet. Oh dear, that's not good. Lauren V says, it's called España Verde for a reason. It's so green because it rains. Ah, very good. Weather isn't that bad in Bilbao, says Rakon. Ah, okay, we'll find out. Let's get ourselves. We're 20 miles off track. I mean, this is shocking. If air traffic's watching, they're going to be wondering what on earth we're doing. Let's keep the heading mode coming round. And let's see. Dave had the same problem with the ARC. Ended up going to Sarah. Yeah, so that's funny. We've had the same issue with the fly-by-wire before. I suspect it's a Microsoft Flight Simulator thing then. So, descent check. Landing elevation we've set. Fuel is checked. We have plenty of fuel. We've got 2.8 tons. TCAS is set. Radar is on. CAS is checked. No concerning messages. Landing data, I think we've set. I mean, is there any other landing data we need to set? In the POSINIT page? I feel like there was something. Maybe in the perf page. Nope. The VNAV setup? Nope. I think we've done it all. Nope. And I suppose we've got to make sure the ILS is tuned, which it is on my side, certainly. And you actually see the star starting to come in. We've lost that localizer message as well. Strange. Approach briefing complete. We've done that. Good stuff. Yeah, I think we'll go direct to Sarah, and then we'll do our little dive in that we were talking about earlier. We'll skip the Karma, I'm afraid, everybody. Right, so there's that. Then we'll go nav. And let's hope this works out. So 2,000 feet per minute seems to be a reasonable rate of descent. It is a shocking approach shot, I agree, Neil. Matthew says, call it deviating from storms. Yeah, good idea. That is a good idea. We'll do that. Louis says, not sure what I've done. Congrats on passing your CRJ exam. Absolutely. Ed, good to see you. Ed's back. Haven't missed the descent. Nope, you're just watching me mess it up right now, live. When are we going to talk to air traffic? So, air traffic is on 1185. I'll get that ready. Oh, it's gone really grey outside. Don't rain, please. Not yet. I'm going to tune them now. So we're listening to Bilbao, just ready in case they call us. Right. Now, here's the problem. My clever maths based on the track miles. So this says to the airport we've got 52 miles. Well, we're really high for that. And that includes going via Karma, which we aren't going to. That's because of all my messing around there. So it's time for the speed brakes. And we're going to wind on the vertical speed. In fact, I'm going to do speed mode. We can do 250. We're going into ice. Let's get engine anti-ice on. Wings can stay off. The more we do now, the easier it is to fix. When you're high like this, fixing it earlier is a lot easier. See where we end up. I think I'm going to... How funny. Now in auto, it's flicking through frequencies. What's it doing? Anyway, 1103 should be the ILS. 1103. 298 is the inbound course. So do I need to set that inbound course now as well? There you go. There's a sort of unsettled sky, I'd call that. And the course isn't... It's not letting me change it. So what I'm going to do is recenter the heading bug. We've got the thrust levers at idle, speed brakes out. Okay, right, let us go to heading mode. I'm going to change the nav source. Course 297. Okay, oh I see, it's automatically got it in green. For some reason this one is stuck on 206, but that's fine. Okay, right, fine. So it looks like the course is sitting there in the background, so we'll leave it in nav. We're high enough up, so I'm actually going to increase that speed a bit further. Do 300s. AZR, I'm using the RTX 3080 if you're asking about my graphics card. Yeah, it does look like this guy in the UK now, yeah. It does indeed. Someone please, once we're on the ILS, please do remind me to hit record on the replay tool. There's those tiny speed brakes making not a lot of difference, I must admit. We're probably getting more drag because of the high speed. Into the clouds we go. You'd feel the bumps. These would be turbulent clouds, judging by the CBs in the area, the thunderstorms and so on. So these would be full of uprising air. Oh, you can see it starting to take effect. Excellent. Oh, I love that. This is where Microsoft Flight Simulator just does great. Matthew says, pulls out my popcorn, prepares for dive. Yeah. Did you talk about using the TTA add-on in the CRJ yet? Says Ed. I may have missed it. Yeah, so, good question. No, you haven't missed it. I forgot. The parking brake issue we talked about on the ground, where the animation doesn't work, but the actual park brake does. I can turn it on and off myself using the lever. The speed brake lever works. I'm using it now. Absolutely fine. The gear lever works. Absolutely fine. The auto brake, there is no auto brake, so that does nothing in mine at the moment. The flap lever works, but if you're using the detents, there aren't enough detents, so you've got to be a little bit careful. But yeah, basically it works fine. Just a little bit of tweaking with the... Of course, you've got to make sure you've got the right profile with the throttle adjustments to make sure. I have a separate profile for this. 10,000 feet, that's good, so that's all fine. So now I'm going to wind that speed right back. There's out capture. Oh, let's just come right back to 200 knots. And let's now descend down. Put it onto QNH. Put it into vertical speeds. Let's keep the descent going. I don't know if this is going to work now. 7,000 feet. We can go down to 6,000 feet. We are visual as well, but in this leg it was 6,000. Still high on that ILS and very fast though, so this is not great. Not great at all. So in theory, it's going to try and take us left. Let's put 6,000 in the window. Okay, here's what we're going to do. 8. Oh, let's look. Where's the DME gone? 6.2 miles to waypoint. So it's trying to turn us outbound now, which is not correct. Okay. Wow. And this is the thing with the CRJ. It is a very manual airplane and it gets complicated very quickly. I'm trying to find... So we're effectively doing a hold entry here. Luckily we are very visual with the terrain. I haven't heard from air traffic control. Excuses for the landing, Ashley? Yes, CRJ is hard. Thunderstorms around. This white paint is distracting me. There you go. I think that covers it. We're going out to Karma. Yeah, this is not what you'd expect to do. I suppose it is in a way, but I don't know how it expects us to enter the hold from Karma. So what I'm going to do is intervene. So we're going to recenter the heading bug, add some power, heading. We're going to level off at 6,000 feet. We've got the speed brakes in. We're going to keep it at 200 knots. Okay. Now, the hold is to the left, so we're going to go left first. We'll do effectively a hold entry facing this direction. This is a little bit artistic way of flying the procedure. Yikes, that is some serious turbulence. There we go, out capture. So we're going to keep a bit of speed on. Oh yeah, the mouse wheel is the perfect excuse as well. Thanks, Santiago. Thanks to everyone. So we'll go 30 degrees off. That's not quite 30. A little bit further left. It's flashing QNH. I don't know why. I must have told it the wrong. Transition level. So 200 knots. Round we go, and now we can bring that heading bug all the way round in. Should have timed a minute there, but there we go. We'll have no trouble making that glide slope now. Oh. Traffic must be staring at this going, what on earth are they doing? So we kept ourselves safe. We stayed on the hold side. That localizer course is 298, which is correct. So hopefully, as we come around this corner, we'll reach 6,000 feet. We'll keep 180 knots. And we'll fly down the ILS. Carbon airplane, stop flashing. Oh, I see, that's climb. There we go. Descend to 6,000, please. To keep you guys updated, this is what we're doing. We are now here. We're turning back round towards, hopefully, Sarah. Actually, we've gone further than Karma. We're a bit too far out. So we should really climb back to 7,000 feet MSA. We are visual with the terrain. Here's the valley we're going to fly down. Good, we does lose speed quickly. Yeah, I'm being a classic jet pilot. Let's arm the approach. The localizer is alive. There's lock 1, so it should turn now, which is great news. And now we're going to descend. So we are from Karma. Oh, should be at 6,000 feet actually. No, let's not do that. Yeah, that glide slope's talking nonsense. Don't trust it. Yeah, 6,000 feet from Karma. Now after Karma, I want to stay at 6 until 18.6 on the IBL. I'm not sure where the IBL DME is showing up. I can't see it. I'm going to actually change to the lock. There we go. Yeah, so why? That must be showing me the next waypoint. Yeah, there we go. 21.6. No, exactly. Yeah, got to keep these things in your mind. There we go. So 6,000 feet will maintain. And according to the chart, I can descend from 6,000 feet at 18.6. Right, let's get rid of that chart view. Seems the Lufthansa is keeping their distance. Yeah, that's a good idea. You might hear the cat's woken up. So we'll keep 180. I think we should probably have the first stage of flap out actually. So we'll go to flap 1, being below that T. I'm sure Matthew's got lots to say. Don't forget the scroll wheel. Yeah, that's perfect. Right, 80.6. Down we go. But I don't even want, I'm not going to go down. I'm just going to let it capture this ILS now. We can just capture the ILS and head down the down we go from here. which should keep us quite safe. We've got one stage of flap out. We're at flap 1, which is good. So that's the slats, and we're nice and slow at 180 knots, so should have no issue controlling our descent from here. Oh, I know what we haven't done. Landing speeds. So we have to land flat full. I'm going to click set all. So 141, 135, VREF 134. If I click with that, set, what happens there? Doesn't seem to make any difference, but there we go, 134. So we'll add 5 to that and do 139. That all seems to be working out. That has updated our T, I think, a little bit as well. Matthew says, want my patented don't die flap extension schedule? Yeah, please do. Yeah, if you give us that. So that was the ILS capturing itself. It all seemed fine, I must admit. Yeah, we're on the glide slope, we're on the localizer. And I made it as hard as we possibly could for the airplane, and it did a great job. So let's get rid of that VOR2 needle. That's not helping. Fletcher uses odd way the captain makes a complete and utter Horlick sound like a normal approach. Yeah, that's the trick. It's just about not, you know, the temptation there was, it felt like it was happening quickly. That I almost wanted to descend, thinking that glide slope was way beneath us, just looking at the PFD. But that's the trick. It's slowing yourself down. So we slow it down, and then we see, hold on, no, we're still at, although they said 11 miles, we can't be 11 miles out because we know from the charts that's not right. So we're piecing back our mental model. We'd lost situational awareness for a bit there. We built it back up. And now we're back in a normal position. 4,000 feet, 11 miles. It's a slightly steeper approach, yes, so that makes about sense. Because normally at about 10 miles, I'd expect to be 3,500 feet, something like that. Start the recorder. Thanks, John. Recording. Matthew says, above 220 flap 0, 220 to 200 flap 8. Oh, that's interesting. So we actually need even more flaps. I didn't realise. That's more flaps than I thought. Yeah, it takes quite a bit. 180 to 165 flap 30. Do you really need 30 degrees of flaps at 165? Goodness me. I suppose, yeah, 30's not all that much. Still haven't heard from Tower. I assume they're online. Yeah? Oh, I'll speak to them. Bilbao Tower, good evening. Dan Air 280 ILS, runway 30.
Dan Air 280, Bilbao Tower, good evening. Wind from 340 degrees, right north, runway 30, clear to land.
Clear to land 30, Dan Air 280. Fantastic, already cleared to land, so that's good. Let's idle the thrust. We've got 134 set, and it's a steeper approach, so I don't want to be going much faster than 160. So let's go to, what setting is that going to give us? 30 degrees, down to 160 knots, according to Matthew's handy chart. Add that thrust back on, or you soon lose it. There we go. Okay, this is feeling a bit better than it did earlier, isn't it? We're a little bit more stable. Thanks, John. Yep, we are recording. And I'm just going to configure now. Gear down. Flaps full. I've got my landing checklist. Full landing check. Flight attendant advised. Passenger signs. On. Let's not look at that for too long. Look at that nose down it takes. Wow, amazing. Thrust reversers. Let's arm those. Landing gear down, flaps 40 and indicating, sorry, 45 and indicating. That is the before landing checklist complete. We're clear to land. That is stunning, and this is where I can't get over Microsoft Flight Simulator. The sun glinting off the water. It's so good. Now, if I remember rightly, it takes quite a high thrust setting, although we are on a slightly steeper approach. Oh yeah, steeper approach, that's another excuse. And we're before 1,000. Controller was pretty laid back, yeah. Hard to see the runway. Again, this is the lighting. I said it last time we streamed. This is the lighting that Microsoft Flight Simulator gives you. These effects, the glare, the fact the sun is sort of just blurring out behind the hills, and the glare like this. This is exactly what you get when you're flying an airliner, and it's so great to see it represented. Matthew says you can fly slower, but that's the schedule we use for our new hires to keep it simple. No, sounds like a good plan. Yeah. Thanks for that. I'll have to write those down. Let's see if I remember to find the chat and write them down for next time. Yeah, my first contact with ATC is not normally that simple either, Matty, don't worry. Right, so we are recording. We're clear to land. Checklist is complete. Let's see what happens. We've got our excuses in. There's 1,000 feet. We are stable and clear to land. Headwind on final. Oh, look at that. Just stunning. I can't resist it. Can't resist it. So yeah, weathers were not too bad at all. So the trick here is don't do too many things when we take out the autopilot. I do have to idle the thrust and do the brakes myself. It's a steeper approach, but there's not much we can do about that. Just land like normal. Yeah, it's not the most efficient for the flaps, but safe for the new hires. Yeah, it makes sense, Matthew, and I would definitely qualify as a new hire. We're at V app. Autopilot off time. So now that visual picture is going to start feeling a little bit strange, and there's a good reason for that. And it's just because it's when you come in over a long threshold like that. I promise there's a little bit of turbulence. Oh, that's a bit too much. Get that under control. It is a slightly steeper approach, so more likely to get those. Idle. Got to keep driving it down. It's a low aeroplane. Somewhere here. There's touchdown. Get those reverses out. I think the nose wheel's down there. And we're getting those brakes. Right. We have touched down. Welcome to Bilbao. We get this reverses back in as we slow down. Can we make this exit? I think we can. Welcome to Bilbao. That was quite an approach, eh? That was good fun. That was oh no, careful. Hard right just to get before these lights. Yeah, that was I knew, we knew it'd be tough. We had the steep approach and so on, but yeah, it's good to try it out. And yeah, amazing how jumping to conclusions was almost put us into a descent that we didn't need to be in.
85 Delta winds from.
That was a long float indeed, and I'll talk about
wind calm. Wind calm.
I'll talk about it in a second. Yeah, that was a really long one. Not good at all. Mainly, it's my temptation to try and land the airplane from a normal height view, and you're just so low to the ground. You just keep descending, and you don't touch down yet.
Air 280, taxi Tango, gate Bravo, stand number 3.
Thank you, taxi via Tango Bravo to stand 3, Air 280. Thanks for your help. Thanks for controlling. Okay, so there we go, taxiing in. Let's get those flaps up. No, we won't. We're going to use the replay, so we'll leave everything as it is. So we would normally do with a shutdown. That's a cool shadow. I like having the engines there like ears. Very good. 95 feet per minute was it? Thanks, Sammy. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, a bit of a float in the touchdown zone. I cheated a bit because we got low on final, so that being low on final approach gave us more room to float along. But there we go. The Airbus cockpit is way higher. The Airbus is uniquely high, really. It's considerably higher than the 737 and other similar aircraft. So yeah, so I'm glad it worked out. But Santiago said that was one of the best battle landings I've seen. I'm glad you liked it, Santiago. Yeah, not the most technically correct. I'm sure Matthew would agree that's that. I assume Matthew would have seen straight away that it must have looked like a high flare to him. I imagine if Matthew went to jump in a 320, he'd find himself trying to flare far too late. Likewise, if I went to fly a 747, I would have that trouble. Right, here's the terminal. This is amazing freeware. Looks absolutely spot on. Really impressed with it. Vati2, thanks so much for a £10 donation. That's really kind. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Vati2 says, brilliant stream as always. Much enjoyed. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thanks for coming along. Yeah, thank you so much. That's really generous. Thanks for supporting the channel so much. I'm tempted to see if we can see our colleague land. Or have I missed them? How far out are they? I think they're a bit of a way to go. No, I don't think that's going to work. Sorry. Matthew says, I won't tell if you won't tell. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, thank you, Vati. Thank you for supporting the channel. Really appreciate it. Very kind. John, enjoy your dinner. Thanks for coming along. Captain says, in Microsoft Flight Simulator, it seems almost impossible not to float. Yeah, it's... Microsoft Flight Simulator is very generous with the lift, I think. In the last stages of the approach, in most of the aircraft, you can actually draw out the landing as long as you want. You can fly down the runway at idle thrust and keep raising the nose, and the airplane keeps flying. So, yeah. Now, I've totally forgotten that we were told to go specifically to a stand. So somewhere over here. Look at that. Even Bilbao's written there. That's great. Flightsim.to has some amazing content on there. Matthew says, in the CRJ, you start to vaguely think about flying at 20. Yeah, so in the Airbus... if we haven't done something by 30, you're going to feel it. It's funny, isn't it? Yeah. Thanks, Grozar. One on final. Yeah, I'm hoping by the time we sort of get round here, I'll leave the recorder running.
85 Delta, continue taxi via Tango, Gate, Bravo.
Oh no, he's landed. We missed it.
Number 2.
Sorry to the Lufthansa. The lights looked further away, but I think it was because it was showing up as CRJ.
Tango and Bravo, and then can you repeat the stand for me, Lufthansa 85 Delta?
Oh dear.
Yes, Lufthansa 85 Delta, stand number 2.
So we should be parking here next to them.
Stand number 2.
I'm going to have to disconnect. Thanks for flying along to the Lufthansa. Appreciate it. I'm going to disconnect and steal stand 4. Because, yeah, that's not... sadly, that must be part of the freeware scenery. Ed, yeah, that is a great livery. Paddy's livery on flightsim.to, of course. Unholy says, are you baking me crazy? No, I don't know who that is or what that is. I like those the lights in the wing route. That's nice. Yeah, very cool. We didn't turn on the landing lights, did we? Now, obviously, that we turn them off at this point. There you go. That's more like it. Right. So let's set the parking brake. We would normally shut down here, but of course we won't. We'll go and do our replay. But thank you all for coming along. I hope you've enjoyed it. Chris, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed the flight. And yeah, thank you for taking the time. Matthew, thank you so much for coming along and helping us out. It's a pleasure as always. So let us stop the recording. Replay. Here we go. Now, excuse me while I gawk at the graphics for a little while, because I do enjoy it. I've got to enjoy this computer at times. I think it'd be a crime not to get some enjoyment out of it. Look at that. Incredible. So yeah, steep approach. You can definitely feel it. Oh, that's a bit much. Right. So I'm going to click resume replay. So we came in. A little bit of instability on final here, where I was just a bit too sensitive. It feels very pitch sensitive. I don't know if the real one is like that, but yeah, it's still something I need to be careful with. There you go. You can see that nose going up and down. Thanks on Holy Grail. Thanks everyone. Yeah, I will get to the Windows Now checkpoint. It hasn't started raining just yet, I don't think. Into the flare. I see I flared here, and that's hopeless, isn't it? I mean, look at that. Just sitting 10 feet off the runway. Waiting for it to land, waiting for it to land, waiting for it to land. And there it goes. I mean, it's a nice long touchdown zone. I wouldn't want to touch down any later than that. Because you can see we're straight into the other touchdown zone there. Let's get I think we'll treat ourselves today. So if we jump out and we jump into the drone view. And I give it a bit of drone speed. No, that's not working. Don't know why. Very strange. I've never had any trouble with that. Okay, fine. Well, we'll put that. We won't do that then. Nope, no control over the drone. Why is that? No idea. Alright then. Forget that plan. Let's set up a nice wing view. There we go. And what we'll do... I missed the 0 feet per minute target, says Rakon. Yeah, exactly, yeah. What we'll do then is we'll cut it there. We will rewind a little bit. I often get this wrong and we run out of timing on the music, so hopefully somewhere there is reasonable. Maybe a little bit more. There. Okay. Right. Thank you all so much for coming along. I really appreciate it. The exciting news for you guys, and I'll reveal it now for those of you who stuck around for the stream, is that tomorrow we have a new video hopefully going live on the channel. It should be pretty much ready. It is ready. I'm just waiting for YouTube to process it. It's a 2.5 hour long 787 heavy division mod tutorial where I have managed to convince a real world Boeing 787 pilot to come along onto the channel and talk about it. So in the video it's me and him talking and chatting about the 787 and him guiding me through it. It's 2.5 hours long. I'll put all the bookmarks in so you guys can just click to which section you want, but it's a full flight. We do cold and dark. We even do a little bit of a walk around, take the airplane out and take it up into the sky and go for a flight. So I hope you guys enjoy that video. That's coming tomorrow. Yeah, I'm excited for that one. It was good fun to make, and yeah, if you guys enjoy that one, we can hopefully get some more detailed ones out. The heavy division mod is superb. But what we're going to do now is start the outro music, and I'm going to say thank you all so much. Thank you to those who've kindly donated to the channel. Thank you for the moderators for taking the time. Thank you, Matthew, for taking all of our questions. Really appreciate it. I say a pleasure. And thank you for the people just watching along at home, people chatting along. Really kind. And what I'm going to say now is please do enjoy the rest of your days and your evenings, and we'll see you again in another video. Like I say, video coming tomorrow, or live stream all coming very soon. So yeah, do keep safe and well, and thank you for that subscription. Thank you very much, and bye bye.